England and Scotland faster than anywhere else. Our base is Anfield. They're underway. Liverpool, Southampton. Here are Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark. Just underway. Liverpool then all in red, playing from right to left, so they're defending the Kop. For those of you who know Anfield, against the Southampton side in their change strip, the luminous yellow shirts and navy shorts. And I'll run through the two teams for you, where Liverpool have made just the three changes. Tsimikas for Robertson at left back. You've got Jones for McAllister in the midfield, and then the other change is Nunez for Jota. So Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Konate and Tsimikas, Jones, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, Diaz, Nunez and Mo Salah, who's on the ball now as he passes the ball to Alexander-Arnold, who quickly switches play to the left corner of the area, taken on the chest by Diaz, ball inside, Jones with a shot away, blocked by Bednarek, who able to get the ball away. Ramsdale is in goal for Southampton. They're playing with a back four, Walker-Peters, Bednarek, Harwood-Bellis and Ryan Manning, Dibbling, Smallbone, Ugochukwu, Fernandez, Sulemana and Grombeek complete that Saints lineup as Doncaster Rovers lead Swindon Town by 1-0. Doncaster, who are looking for automatic promotion from League Two, they are already 1 goal up against Swindon Town. Chris Sutton.
Yep, it's playing for the title against playing for pride this afternoon at Anfield, and Southampton immediately at the start of this game they've settled in their 4-4-2. Liverpool dominating possession.
Yes, if ever there was a game that constituted a home banker, it is this, with 58 points between the league leaders Liverpool and bottom of the table Southampton. A penalty in Dublin, James Burridge.
2 penalties, one for Ireland from Prendergast, but immediately France respond and Thomas Ramos knocks one over from 25 metres out. 3 minutes to half-time and France still lead by 8 points to 3, but the breaking news, Antoine Dupont is out of the match with injury.
Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. It'll be followed by Scotland-Wales at 4:45. Incidentally, next week on Sports Extra you'll have the best possible coverage of the Cheltenham Festival from Tuesday. All 28 races will be on BBC Radio 5 Live, either on Sports Extra or 5 Live. Can't wait for that from Tuesday to Friday of next week. You won't miss a trick when it comes to the horse racing and that Cheltenham Festival from Tuesday afternoon from 1 o'clock. This, though, well, Liverpool are entering the final straight and they are well clear. 13 points, although Arsenal do have a game in hand. But Liverpool, only the 3 changes, not wholesale changes that Arne Slot making today.
No, that was certainly the question before the game, whether Liverpool would make a lot of changes looking ahead to huge Champions League night here at Anfield on Tuesday against PSG. But it's one of those, I think, before the start of the season, Liverpool fans wanted to see their team win the Premier League and they want to get the job done as quickly as possible.
But Arne Slot focusing on the task in hand and showing respect to Southampton. Goal at the Stadium of Light in the Championship, John Bennett.
Sunderland 1, Cardiff City 0. Elisa Maenda again, he scored 2 in his last game, he's scored now. Awful playing out from the back from Cardiff. Sunderland won it back, Maenda made no mistake. Sunderland 1, Cardiff 0.
Bottom of the table, Derby County taking on Blackburn today. Lee Blakeman, you've seen a goal.
The first goal of the John Eustace era has been scored by Craig Forsyth. Cross in, found Forsyth at the back post, beat the keeper well. Derby 1, Blackburn 0.
Certainly going to be a pivotal afternoon in the Football League. We'll keep you across it, whether at the Championship, League 1 or League 2, as well as focusing on the Premier League. We've also got John Southall at Brighton, Chris Coles at Crystal Palace in the 2 other games in the Premier League, after earlier Nottingham Forest beat Manchester City by 1-0. Talking of Chris Coles, let's go to Selhurst Park.
Lively start, still Palace 0, Ipswich 0, 2 big chances apiece, and Nketiah well saved by Palmer, and Philogene forcing a good save from Henderson. 0-0.
Szoboszlai outside the centre circle, just tried to nick the ball towards Gravenberch. Southampton have it. Dibbling with his socks rolled down. The young Southampton player, Curtis Jones in field. Diaz able to turn, holds off one challenge, and then it was Bednarek who went to ground and got the ball for Southampton. Dibbling then loses the ball once again. Liverpool's desire to win it back, so evident.
Yeah, Southampton just cannot get up the pitch at this moment in time. Liverpool smothering Southampton when they do try and play out from the back.
Alexander-Arnold forward in front of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand, midway through the Southampton half, slides the ball in. laid back out to Gravenberch, cuts it in. Here is Mo Salah, comes to Jones. Jones puts it wide. He was just inside the penalty area, right-footed, and that was just away from the left-hand post. 0-0.
Yeah, and he knows, his reaction tells you everything. Curtis Jones, he should have scored. They work it well down the right-hand side. Ball into Salah, pop back, and then outright, and the ball fed back to Salah. Couldn't get a shot off, and the ball's prodded towards Curtis Jones from a Southampton defender. He's 12 yards out, and he's got to bury that. Didn't hit the target. Past the right-hand post of Ramsdale.
On a slot, watching from the stands again as he serves the second of his two-match touchline ban for his antics against Everton that also resulted in a £70,000 fine, as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service to Anfield. Liverpool against Southampton, so wherever you are in the world, it's a pleasure to have your company on this Saturday afternoon. So, 0-0 here, 0-0 at Selhurst Park. What's the early stages like at the Amex, John Southall?
Well, it's the same here, Ian. Brighton 0, Fulham 0. Lively start to the game, though, for Brighton. Matoma flying down the left-hand side, cut in, his shot saved by Leno. Brighton 0, Fulham 0.
Jones, just inside his own half, strokes the ball back to Alisson. The performance of his life. He described his superb heroics against Paris Saint-Germain in midweek in the Champions League. We will be live here on Tuesday night for yet more European action during the week on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It should be some occasion. Liverpool against Paris Saint-Germain here on Tuesday. Another goal at Derby, Lee Blakeman.
Another one for Derby. Derby 2, Blackburn 0. Low ball in from the right, picked out Ibu Adams, scramble in the area. Adams put it in. 2 goals in 6.5 minutes, and the bottom club lead Blackburn 2-0.
They are bottom, they're 7 points adrift, without a win in 12, but John Eustace against his old side, upsetting Blackburn Rovers and their playoff aspirations with that current scoreline. 7 minutes played here. What have you made of the start, Chris?
Well, Southampton just getting a bit of a foothold in this game and trying to press Liverpool a bit higher up the pitch. Liverpool in a build-up play a little bit better than Southampton's structure at this moment in time. But from their perspective, Ian, it's a case of hanging on in there in this game. And then if they get an opportunity, try and nick it. But their season's over, isn't it, really? They're going to go down. I think they need to win something like 7 or 8 games. They won 2 all season, Southampton.
Yeah, and talking of Derby County as well, as with those 2 goals that we've heard there in the East Midlands, Southampton will want to avoid that tag of being the worst side in Premier League history that currently is Derby County. And in fact, when Derby County mustered just the 11 points in 07-08, like Southampton, they had 9 points at this stage of the season. It's 0-0, it's the Premier League. 5 Live and BBC Sounds also live on the World Service as the ball is stroked by Konate out towards Alexander-Arnold. Infield to Gravenberch. Gravenberch, who I thought was just hobbling a fraction after a challenge earlier on, I think, with Fernandes, and his persistence, it goes behind and out for a goal kick. Half-time then in Dublin, James Burridge.
A monster penalty from Sam Prendergast from 50 metres brings Ireland to within 2. 8 points to 6. France lead at half-time. Biel Barry with a try. Lowe and Antoine Dupont out.
Mentioned the second half will be on Sports Extra. Also talked about the Cheltenham Festival on Sports Extra. India, New Zealand in the Champions Trophy cricket final tomorrow. 9 o'clock the coverage will start. That too will be on Sports Extra. As Ramsdale away towards our left with a goal kick, bounces away off Dibbling, tries to win it back, succeeds, then gives it and shows too much to Tsimikas. And now Gravenberch will play it short and infield. Konate just stands on the ball and plays it back towards Gravenberch, who is coming forward now outside the centre circle, along the ground towards Tsimikas. Looks for that ball over the top for Diaz to chase. Harwood-Bellis will try and get there, and did just about get there, and Diaz has gone crashing into the advertising hoardings and might have taken a blow to the head.
Yeah, that looks to be a really sore one for Diaz. Tried to keep the ball in play. Harwood-Bellis made the challenge, and then it's a follow-through as he slides down a little incline and he hammers his head into the advertising boards. Seeing that again, that's a... just hope he's all right, really. There's some clatter to his head.
Well, I said Harwood-Bellis, it was actually Bednarek, my apologies, but Diaz is back on his feet. His supporters singing his name here inside Anfield. It remains 0-0, 10 minutes played between Liverpool and Southampton. So a corner kick for the league leaders that Alexander-Arnold is going to take on this near side. At the Anfield Road end of the ground, half of that bottom tier allocated to the Saints supporters, and they've packed it too. In it comes now, and then headed out on this occasion by Harwood Bellis, but it's played out by Tsimikas that forces Gravenberch out very, very wide, and he can't keep the ball in play. Southampton throw.
And do you know what, from Southampton's point of view, Ian, it's been they'll think they've had a pretty decent start here. There was the chance for Curtis Jones, but they just, I think 10 minutes on the clock and kept it at a nil so far. They'll try and gain little victories in this game early on and not give away a cheap goal. If Liverpool need to score a goal, it'll have to be a moment of quality, a moment of brilliance. They'll have to defend set piece as well, and then try and carry a threat of their own eventually.
They've lost their last 6 league visits with an aggregate scoreline of 19 goals to 1. In fact, it was 2013 the last time that Southampton won here, and it was the former Liverpool player. He went on to play for Liverpool, Dejan Lovren, who got the goal for Saints that day. Bristol Rovers lead Huddersfield Town by a goal to 0. Leyton Orient 0, Northampton Town 1. The latest scores in League One. In the Premier League, it's still 0-0 here, top against bottom. Gravenberch out towards Alexander-Arnold, who slowly passes the ball to Mo Salah, running at Manning. Level the area, Manning gets a foot into the challenge, and his right foot forces the ball out of play for a throw.
He dealt with it well there, Manning. First 1v1 for Mo Salah, driving, trying to get on the outside. Just a little bit slow now from Liverpool with their passing, lacking a little bit of pace, and that allows Southampton to get back into their shape and their positioning and make it difficult to play through.
Diaz flicks the ball in field, reaches Gravenberch. 30 yards out from goal, short forward ball back towards Diaz, runs into trouble, manages to nick it towards Szoboszlai, helps it on its way out towards Salah, still 25 yards out, forward ball, Ugachukwu headed away, Dibbling has Tsimikas snapping at his heels, but again Jones, those desire levels for Liverpool to win the ball back so quickly. And Dibbling has been unfortunate because he must have lost it about 4 or 5 times already, the Southampton youngster.
Yeah, he's the one though, isn't he, Dibbling, where you think if Southampton want to get up the pitch, he is a dribbler, he is a ball carrier. Interesting the way they've set up there, in a 4-4-2, gone back, and Matheus Fernandes playing furthest forward, but they're set up to contain and frustrate, and that's what they have done in these early stages.
There's been a goal at Ashton Gate in the Championship. Bristol City have fallen behind. Bristol City 0, Hull City 1. Details of that goal from Owen Gwyneth.
Well taken goal by João Pedro. A lovely turn in the box by the centre forward. Centre back Rob Dickie slipping. Pedro side footing past the keeper. His 6th of the season. Hull City a goal ahead. Bristol 0, Hull City 1.
Thank you, Owen. Early on in the Championship, Coventry City beat Stoke City by 3 goals to 2. Southampton almost getting caught out by playing it out from the back, but they get away with it. Ramsdale's forward ball can't release Sulemana. Watford 1, Millwall 2 was the result at Vicarage Road.
That was like the old Russell Martin ball, wasn't it? Where they did just get away with it. Small bone under real pressure. And the ball eventually going back to Ramsdale, who hoofed the ball clear. Liverpool so good with the press. They're on to Southampton.
Here is Smallbone, runs it forward, shows too much to Konate, slides in, wins the ball. Van Dijk, a former Southampton player, of course. Jones came under pressure from Ugachukwu. Konate then passes the ball out to Gravenberch, who's out towards that right touchline. Bypasses Alexander-Arnold on both occasions, the two players, as it's back with Konate. Alexander-Arnold again wants it now and gets it, and his forward ball looks for the run of Nunez, and then 2 Southampton players collide. That was Manning coming in, and it was also going to be Bednarek, and they've clashed heads and they've both gone down.
That's an absolute sickener, and there's concern here for both players. Eyes on the ball, both of them, and then they clash heads, and I've got to say Bednarek, looks like Manning is okay. Bednarek is down in a pretty awkward position there. Let's just hope he's all right.
Yeah, Manning has sat up. but Bednarek is still flat out at the moment. There's now been a sending off at Ashton Gate. Owen.
Yeah, goal scorer João Pedro has received a red card, lunging in on George Tanner late. Referee came running across, brandished the red card. Hull City a goal ahead, but down to 10 men. João Pedro off the field.
Manning is onto his feet now. He looks okay. Bednarek is still being treated, and they're taking quite rightly the due care and attention, the two physios. They're just holding the head and talking to Jan Bednarek. Barrow are leading Accrington Stanley by a 1-0. We've got a lengthy stoppage then here at Anfield. We will go to Crystal Palace against Ipswich Town and Chris Coles.
Which is still 0-0, 15 minutes old, but Crystal Palace just beginning to stamp their authority on this game. A couple of decent chances. Jefferson Lerma shot from the edge of the area, well found by Munoz. Lerma, fraction of space, right foot shot, just dragged it a couple of yards wide of the left-hand post. Palace 0, Ipswich 0.
Still Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Fulham 0. Earlier at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest beat Manchester City by a 0-0. We know that fourth place Sunderland are leading Cardiff City by a 0-0. They've got Burnley and Sheffield United above them. At Bramall Lane is Julia Bold.
Yes, it is still Sheffield United 0, Preston 0. We are 17 minutes gone, but lots of early pressure from Sheffield United. Tyrese Campbell's early shot hit the side netting, but still goalless at Bramall Lane.
Plymouth have fallen behind. Plymouth next to bottom without a win in 4. Sheffield Wednesday have just taken the lead, and Bella Kotchap is going to be coming on because Bednarek at least is sitting up now, Chris Sutton, which is always a relief.
Yeah, absolutely, but they shouldn't take any risks with head knocks, and that looks a pretty severe one. So Bella Kotchap will come on like for like.
And I mentioned that goal at Home Park. Here's John Akers.
Plymouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. An own goal from Ogbeta. Cross from the left. He just didn't deal with it. Came off his shins and went in. Argyle had started well, but they're behind. Plymouth 0, Wednesday 1.
Well, the stretcher was ready, and it was poised by the four gentlemen who were willing to carry it. But Bednarek is on his feet, but he's not going to be in a position to continue. As we will go to London Road in League One, where there's been a goal. Adam Whitty.
And it's gone to Peterborough. They lead 1-0 over Wickham. Malik Mothersill with a calm and composed penalty, his 14th of the season. It is Peterborough 1, Wickham 0 with 14 minutes gone.
Jan Bednarek started to walk and then he stopped and put his hands on his knees. He really is in a bad way.
Yeah, it's not a good look, and it's not worth us speculating. But with a blow like that, and the way that he stooped, then you can see, listen to the ovation he's getting, but there'll be some sort of concussion in there. How severe it is, the main thing is that he takes time to recover.
Well, he's getting a nice ovation from the Anfield crowd as well as the travelling support. Jan Bednarek, the Southampton captain, forced off the field of play, and it means that Bella Kotchap, the German defender, will come on to replace him in the heart of that Saints back line. So that was a good 5-minute stoppage here at Anfield, where it remains 0-0, and Southampton forced into to that change, and there will be a drop ball for Aaron Ramsdale as play is going to get underway here, and Ramsdale will just touch it back into his penalty area and then pick the ball up and allow those luminous shirts of Southampton's change strip to move further forward as they attack the Kop end. But it's an extremely high line from Liverpool, who are all in red, and then Ramsdale gets good distance on that. Sulemana was making the run in behind Konate, and Alexander Arnold tried to usher it out for he's actually didn't keep the ball in play.
No, and I can't believe he didn't really casual defending. He had time to get back and clear the ball out for a throw into Southampton. Of course, this allows Southampton to put a corner into the Liverpool box and try and cause them a problem or two, but defending really slack from Alexander Arnold.
Keen to usher it out for a goal kick, got a touch, and by that point he'd conceded a corner that Smallbone's going to take in front of the Kop, far side the left, 0-0. It's an in-swinger, and Harwood Bellis got something on it 6 yards out, but didn't have the power, and after his exertions in Paris in midweek, that was a comfortable save by Alisson. But that stoppage in play, you can feel that there's been that lull, and the crowd then just tried to raise Liverpool, As 20 minutes played, it remains 0-0. And really, the only scare to the Southampton goal was that one from Jones that he put wide.
Yeah, there's a clear-cut opportunity, but the most important thing is Liverpool keep moving the ball quickly, real purpose and pace to the passing, and they have just slackened off.
Here is Salah. Salah on the right-hand side. Szoboszlai looks for the return ball to Salah. Tried to cut back inside onto his left boot. Smallbone was there to clear the ball out of play. It's a Liverpool throw, level with the penalty area on the right-hand side. 5 Live. BBC Sounds, and we're also live on the World Service, where it remains 0-0. Luton Town are down to 10 men. Naismith has been sent off. They're currently drawing away at Burnley. 0-0 it remains at Turf Moor, but third place Burnley, unbeaten in 22 games, and Luton Town struggling third from bottom, and now down to 10 after that second bookable offence for Kay Naismith. As here is Szoboszlai over the halfway line. Gravenberch's ahead of him, but he's come to a standstill. As Chris Sutton quite rightly has said, the tempo at times can be a little bit slow from the league leaders, as Van Dijk to Jones. They've certainly been quick to win it back, however, when they've not had the ball. Here is Diaz, shown on the inside by Walker-Peters. They've doubled up on this left-hand side. They lose it, Dibbling on the Southampton right. Ugachukwu now to Walker-Peters. Passes the ball in field, laid off by Fernandes. Smallbone, nicely done, and worked out now by Grombeek. Out towards Sulemana. Southampton are attacking. Sulemana enters the penalty area, goes past one challenge. Alexander-Arnold concedes the corner, 0-0.
No, it's brilliant from Southampton, actually. From deep in their own half, all the way up the pitch, switcher play to Sulemana, who drives on the inside, and Alexander-Arnold had to stay alert inside his own box. Smallbone go out once again to whip a corner, and Liverpool will be keen on this occasion to get that first contact.
Smallbone then places the ball down. It's another corner kick on that far side to left as Southampton play from left to right, attacking the Kop. Midway through the first half, Smallbone, another in-swinger, met by Nunez, comes out to Grombeek, hit then by Fernandes, and then Alisson with the save, and he looks for that long ball over the top as the Southampton shirts quickly retreat. Salah though to Alexander-Arnold, and the return ball to Salah was just a fraction short. News of that sending off Katie Smith.
Yeah, Burnley 0, Luton 0, but Luton relegation threat. Luton down to 10. Cal Naismith of the back line sent off, second yellow, sliding in on Josh Brownhill. Burnley 0, Luton 0.
Doncaster Rovers have got a second goal. Doncaster Rovers 2, Swindon Town 0. Doncaster, who were third this morning in League 2. Here is Walker-Peters. Ball in field, Ugachukwu lets it roll, and then referees played a good advantage there actually. Our referee Lewis Smith from Lancashire, only the 5th game in the Premier League this season, as Smallbone on that left-hand side of the penalty area. Manning tried to thread it through, comes to Sulemana, no way through. Grombeek was there. Liverpool concede another corner kick.
Yeah, they've had a bit of defending to do, haven't they, the last 5 minutes? Southampton growing in confidence. Sulemana once again, good feet to try and get a shot off inside the box, and Southampton pushing Liverpool back.
Just for confirmation as well, that substitution for Bella Kotchap coming on for Bednarek is a concussion substitute, so Southampton will still be able to use 5 more substitutes if they so wish. Burton Albion 0, Bolton 1 is the latest score in League One. You're up to date. Southampton have another corner. Again, it's on the left-hand side. Again, Smallbone to take it. Goes deep this time. Looks for Harwood Bellis. Flicked away by Liverpool. Kept in play by Szoboszlai on this near side. Szoboszlai looks for a long diagonal ball. Fernandes was running back and required Bella Kotchap to go to ground and prevent it from reaching the red shirt of Nunez. And then the referee, Lewis Smith, who last weekend, would you believe, was taking charge of Chelmsford against Worthing in National League South, and here he is officiating yet again at Anfield, where it remains 0-0. We'll go to the Amex. John Southall.
Yes, Brighton 0, Fulham 0. Very little between these two sides. Opening for Brighton, though, Minte on the right hand side, past Bassey. Leno saved at his near post. Brighton 0, Fulham 0.
Did I interrupt you? Were you going to say something before I went to John?
So you don't rate Chelmsford and Worthing then?
No, I was just talking more about the contrast from Chelmsford to Liverpool. Mind you, he has shown 134 yellow cards in his 40 games this season as the Lancashire official. Here is Gravenberch forward. Chris Sutton is with us, 0-0, as it's almost 3 on this Saturday afternoon on Merseyside. For it is a very pleasant day. It almost feels as if spring has arrived. We've got a little bit of blue sky, the sun is shining. It's a little milder. 0-0. Been lukewarm so far from the league leaders. Here is Gravenberch, opens up for him, checks back onto his left foot, still going Gravenberch, overruns it. Alexander-Arnold is there, saved by Ramsdale. Closed him down, quickly went to ground and made the block save. Now the counter-attack for Southampton. Smallbone releases Sulemana, away on the left-hand side, infield. Grombeek is going to shoot. No, he isn't. Edge of the area. Now he might shoot. He held on to it too long. Liverpool had too many red shirts and took it off him.
I've got to say, brilliant goalkeeping from Ramsdale. End to end now, though.
Here is Salah running forward, midway through the Southampton half. Out to Alexander-Arnold, high up the pitch on that far side, the right. Szoboszlai, with his dark hair, trotting into the Liverpool attack. And then he passes the ball to Canate, and every outfield player now is in the half away towards our left as Liverpool attack the Anfield Road end. It is still 0-0. Here is Tsimikas, one of those 3 changes that Arne Slot made. Luis Diaz has got to get past Walker-Peters. Dibling's doubled up on him too. And then Diaz passes the ball in field. Gravenberch looks for a shooting opportunity. And in the end, he's snuffed out, but the ball will rebound to Tsimikas. Infield now to Van Dijk. Van Dijk, who made 80 appearances and scored 7 goals in his 2.5 years on the South Coast. Alexander-Arnold out towards Salah. Salah running at Manning. Enters the penalty area on that far side. Szoboszlai has a go at it. Nunez with a header over the top, loops over. And it will go out for a goal kick as Swansea City lead Middlesbrough by 1-0 in the Championship. And there's been a try in Ireland, James Burridge.
The perfect start to the second half for Ireland. Dan Sheehan off the back of a driving maul from a 5-metre line out, dived to the right-hand side. Prendergast knocks over the conversion from touch. Ireland lead by 13 points to 8.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. No other goals to tell you about, Chris Sutton.
No, it's better from Salah, pushing Manning back and probing. Manning's got to engage, I think, higher up and further out, and let Mo Salah drive into the box, and the ball eventually just a little bit too high for Nunez, who couldn't direct his header on target.
Ugo Chukwu back in the Saints side. He was one of the 6 changes. Of course, he was ineligible to face his parent club last time out against Chelsea, but unable to really make any headway on this near side, the right, and it'll be a Liverpool throw with 28 minutes played. Let's get an update from Selhurst Park. Chris Coles.
Crystal Palace 0, Ipswich 0, but the chances continue to flow for Palace, and Nketiah and Eze linking up well. Eze's shot well blocked, and Enciso at the other end for Ipswich, a right foot shot well saved by the diving Dean Henderson. Palace 0, Ipswich 0.
Allison clears long. He got a lovely ovation as he came out to warm up when the Liverpool crowd got a first sight of him inside the stadium today after his performance against Paris Saint-Germain. As Liverpool get a free kick over on that far side, the right. Monday Night Club from 7. Tuesday we'll have commentary of Liverpool, Paris Saint-Germain, the return. We're at Villa Park on Wednesday for Aston Villa against Bruges, and at Old Trafford on Thursday, Manchester United against Real Sociedad. 3 more successive nights of European football.
Yeah, Southampton unhappy about the award of the free kick, but it's a long ball from Alisson. Manning and Salah competing for it, and Manning went down. There was a hand in the back from Salah, not a strong hand, and Manning threw himself to the floor, gathered the ball up, and I think the referee and the assistant on the far side got the correct decision, gave the free kick to Liverpool. Simulation.
That's Chris Sutton. This is BBC Radio 5 Live, 0-0. Canate out to Alexander-Arnold, plays it in towards Gravenberch, finds the space. Nunez gets the shot away early, and it was a comfortable save by Ramsdale. One touch, hit it low, left-footed. Ramsdale, though, low down, comfortable save, 0-0.
Yeah, it's the quickness of pass from Gravenberch, 30 yards out, just feeds Nunez. He takes a quick first touch with his right foot, swivels, and tries to drive the ball with his weaker left foot, doesn't catch it cleanly, and Ramsdale makes a very comfortable save.
15 minutes to go to the break. There will be at least 5 minutes of added on time for that head injury to Bednarek, as Van Dijk gets it back from Gravenberch and then just strokes it to Tsimikas, forward ball from Tsimikas, back with the Liverpool left back. Exeter City leading Shrewsbury Town by 1-0 in League One. Van Dijk now will spread the ball out to Alexander-Arnold, off the chest, hits it early, hits it low, cut out by Manning. Sulemana back there on defensive duties now, gets away from Alexander-Arnold, who's struggling to keep up with Sulemana. His ball in field, Fernandez then just touches it and it breaks down quite easily. Luis Diaz though wasn't alert, Walker-Peters was, steps out of defence and continues the run. Tsimikas brings him down, and that will be a Southampton free kick, and a yellow card is shown to the Liverpool left back Kostas Tsimikas.
Yeah, just not quite on the same wavelength at times, the Liverpool players in this first half, and Walker-Peters ends up with the ball and gets the other side of Tsimikas, and it's a rash challenge. It's a yellow card challenge every day of the week. Southampton breaking on Liverpool. You could say a good foul from Liverpool's perspective. 30 odd yards out, a little bit too far out to shoot in my book. Not going to beat the goalkeeper of Alisson's quality, are they, from there, Ian?
You wouldn't have thought so. It is fractionally right of centre, but Chris has called it in terms of the distance, 35 yards out.
And the goalkeeper, the form he's in.
Well, could be the quality of the strike from Smallbone. In the end, he chips it. Downward header by Harwood-Bellis, and Nunez was the one. I don't think he heard the shout from Alisson because there was nobody running behind him. He's conceded a corner.
And do you know what? He did the right thing. It was a nervy clearance, and maybe Alisson was there, didn't call early enough, but had a few corners, Southampton. I think this is maybe their fourth, is it?
Well, I think you're probably right. Fourth or fifth for Smallbone, and all from that far side, the left. We're going to Turf Moor in a moment, where there's been a goal. Remember, Luton Town were reduced to 10 men. They're at third place, Burnley. Smallbone with this corner kick for Southampton, 0-0. 13 minutes to go to half-time in the Premier League. Smallbone to take it. In it comes now. Van Dijk heads it out. Fernandez tries to guide the header back out towards Smallbone, and then it's volleyed away by Alexander-Arnold. And Grombeek has to get there before Salah, and he can't. Salah has gone past him. Salah now with a cross from the right-hand side, and Fernandez is there, and he should get the ball away for Southampton. So to Turf Moor, Katie Smith.
Burnley 1, 10-man Luton 0, and it feels a bit cruel. An own goal for centre-back McGuinness, brought on to replace Cal Naismith. He was sent off for a second yellow. A cross in from the right-hand side, and he stabbed it home by accident. Burnley 1, Luton 0.
Sulemana has carried the ball forward to Ugochukwu. Southampton are just starting to grow in confidence.
Yeah, they are, but I've got to say, Ian, what a recovery run from Fernandez there when Salah got away to the byline and pulled the ball back. Right place, right time to clear up the danger.
Ugochukwu, short diagonal ball, Dibbling. Walker-Peters on this near side, the right. Has to get away from Tsimikas and Diaz. Helped out by Dibbling. Right corner of the area, runs in field, looks for the left-footed shot, blocked, comes back to Dibbling. Just tried to prod it into the path of Fernandez. It's dug out by Gravenberch, and Liverpool have the ball, and then there's a foul there, Smallbone on Luis Diaz. Free kick to Liverpool. We'll go to find out what's happening in that title decider. Ireland-France, James Burridge.
And France have taken back the lead, albeit controversially. Bourdenholz burrowed over from 5 metres, but the crowd incensed because they felt that Peter Omani was taken out in the process. Ramos converted, but Ireland have also lost Calvin Nash for at least 10 minutes, as it's been referred to the bunker for a head-to-head collision with Thomas Ramos. France have the lead back, 15 points to 13.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. Diaz looks for the run of Jones ahead of him, left-hand side of the penalty area. Jones plays it to Tsimikas. Level with the box. Jones now makes the run behind him, so he's 25 yards out from goal. Infield to Gravenberch. Back with Van Dijk. Van Dijk to Tsimikas. Tsimikas infield to Diaz, but they're playing in front of those luminous yellow shirts of Southampton. Konate didn't control the ball. It runs past him and through to Alexander-Arnold. Coming back into a central area midway through the Saints' half. Then Van Dijk along the ground. Tsimikas sends over the cross. Nunez climbs. Smallbone clears it, right-footed. Tranmere Rovers 0, Bromley 1 is a latest score in League 2. Tranmere Rovers struggling in the nether regions of League 2. The two results earlier, incidentally. Wimbledon 2, Notts County 0. So Wimbledon go 4th. And Walsall, the leaders, lost again. They've only had 2 wins in their last 11. Grimsby Town doing their playoff hopes the world of good. winning 3-1 at the Bescott Stadium, and they were the two results in League Two, and the two results in League One: Crawley 1, Reading 1, Stockport County 0, Charlton Athletic 0. They've only lost one of their last 11 of Charlton under Nathan Jones. They're on a really, really good run of form. There's been a goal at Brighton. John Southall.
Brighton 0, Fulham 1. Raul Jimenez got the other side of Van Hecke, who should have done better the centre half, and finished it off. Brighton 0, Fulham 1.
We've got under 10 minutes to go to half-time. It remains 0-0. It's also goalless at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Ipswich. Later on, we've got commentary of Aston Villa at Brentford for that 5:30 game in West London, as Dibbling picks it up now for Southampton. And then infield to Fernandes, little touch, then the cross, on the stretch there was Albert Grombek, the Danish international, just lacked the height to get on the end of that with a connection goal kick.
And he just peeled away, didn't he, on the diagonal from Konate. Gee, the longer this game has gone on, Southampton, they're fancying this now. Fernandes, who's playing as a false nine, so is Grombek, but being more prominent. Fernandes
haven't won in their last 8 visits to Anfield since a Shane Long goal in a League Cup semi-final back in 2017. They failed to score in 7 of those 8 visits. It's 0-0 here. We've got 9 minutes to go to the break, but the Saints supporters are in good voice in that Anfield Road end away towards our left. Szoboszlai infield to Alexander-Arnold, 30 yards out from goal. His ball will go over the top of Bela Kotchap. It'll be kept in play by Tsimikas with his quick cross. Bela Kotchap heads it away then to Diaz, turns outside the area. He waits, faces goal. Liverpool, remember, playing from right to left. Tsimikas on this near side. Infield now to Gravenberch. They go, the league leaders. Southampton have everybody back behind the ball. They're being patient. Tsimikas goes down the line. Diaz runs onto it. Left-hand side of the box. Back with Tsimikas once more. Just passes the ball 10 yards infield to Gravenberch. Alexander-Arnold now is in possession. Salah creates the width on that far side, the right, and he runs at Manning, who backpedals. They've doubled up on him. Alexander-Arnold joins the attack, edge of the area. His shot, left-footed, blocked. We'll go to Pat Murphy at the Hawthorns in the Championship.
Still 0-0 here. QPR getting into this game. Dunn has just hit the side netting. Johnson over the bar for West Brom after great work by Fellows. West Brom 0, QPR 0.
Alexander-Arnold's low cross, that'll be cleared by Manning. MK Dons, who sacked Scott Lindsay as their manager last weekend. Ben Gladwin is the interim, but MK Dons have fallen behind. MK Dons 0, Morecambe 1. That's in League Two. There are no other goals to tell you about as we have 7 minutes to go to the break on this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and every Southampton player you mentioned behind the ball, defending the box when Manning, the ball did fall to the Southampton left back. There's nobody up the pitch, but he hooked it forward anyway. As Liverpool straight back on the attack, but here goes Dibbling.
Referee has played the advantage as Dibbling will run forward, but Gravenberch just running back and just easily takes it away off his toes, and Liverpool see it back to Alisson. Another try in Dublin, James Burridge.
An outstanding counter-attack try from France. A second for Louis Bielbarré after Penaud counter-attack from within his own half. Bielbarré raced down the left wing for 30 metres, kicked the ball back inside, somehow managed to win the race to grind the ball down. Ramos has converted, Ireland down to 14, still with Nash in the bin, and it's France leading by 22 points to 13.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. England, Italy tomorrow, incidentally. There'll be commentary from 3 on the BBC Sport website. Salah enters the penalty area. Salah tried to thread it back towards Szoboszlai. Small bone though with the interception. Fernandes holds on to it, passes the ball back to Walker-Peters inside his own box. Fernandes once again. He's got a look of Coutinho, hasn't he, Mateus Fernandes?
He has, actually. I mentioned him a couple of moments ago. He's been good on the ball. He's been very composed. Fernandes
signed him from Sporting in the summer, the Portuguese midfielder, but diminutive in stature like Philippe Coutinho. Tranmere Rovers have equalised at Prenton Park. Tranmere 1, Bromley 1 is the latest score in League Two. It's 0-0 here. This is the Premier League, where Fulham are leading at Brighton and Crystal Palace 0, Ipswich 0. Earlier, Forest beat Manchester City by 1-0. They moved within 3 points of second-placed Arsenal. Ugochukwu forward for Southampton. Passes the ball out towards Dibbling on the right-hand side. Penalty at the Hawthorns, Pat Murphy.
To West Brom, Adam Armstrong is about to take it right-footed, disputed. Cook, the captain of the Queen's Park Rangers, has been booked for dissent. Looked an innocuous challenge to me. West Brom won't care. It's 0-0. What a time to get a goal just for half-time. Here comes Armstrong. And this emphatic goal. Right foot finish to the right of the keeper. West Brom 1, Rangers 0.
Thank you, Pat. And straight to Derby. There's been another goal, Lee Blakeman.
Blackburn have got one back. Derby 2, Blackburn 1. Ball in from the right, picked out Maktar Gay on the penalty spot, and he blasted it into the roof of the net. 5 to go until half-time. Derby 2, Blackburn 1.
Adam Armstrong then with that goal for West Bromwich Albion, on loan from Southampton. He just shy of 150 appearances for the Saints.
Yeah, I think that's a smart piece of business actually for West Brom. Adam Armstrong scores goals at that level.
Yes, proven. Newport County are leading at Chesterfield. Chesterfield 0, Newport County 1 is the latest score in League 2. The ball is at the feet of Allison, as there's been a goal at Burnley in the Championship. Katie Smith.
And Burnley have doubled their lead over 10-man Luton. Burnley 2, Luton 0. Lyle Foster this time, the ball ricocheting around on the right-hand side of the box. It comes in towards the back post, and there's Lyle Foster to stab it home. Burnley 2, Luton 0.
Liverpool really haven't progressed very far, as Van Dijk now gives it to Gravenberch. They are on the halfway line as Van Dijk just jogs his way to join the attack, and now it's with Gravenberch once again. Plymouth Argyle 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2, and it was Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Fulham 1, but you've seen another goal, John.
Yeah, Brighton have equalised. Brighton 1, Fulham 1. Free kick on the left-hand side, met by Jean-Paul Van Hecken with a header off the left post. In it went, his first for the club. Brighton 1, Fulham 1.
Simicast, as a shot was blocked by Diaz. Simicast and Gravenberch contrived to give the ball away. Liverpool win it back though. Here is Jones, just outside the penalty area. Little ball in for Alexander-Arnold. There comes the cross, and diving and sliding was Manning, and it goes behind for a Liverpool corner as we have 3 minutes to go to the break.
Yeah, it's just that final ball for Liverpool. I've got to say, some of Southampton's last-ditch defending has been first class. Firstly, Ian, Bella Kotchap, I think, got the block from Diaz effort, and then Manning in that near post space position. You expect better quality from Alexander-Arnold, but he's in the right place, right time to pop it behind Liverpool corner.
So under 3 minutes to go. The corner kick will be going to Sunderland in a moment, but let's just see what happens with this corner, as Chesterfield have equalised at home to Newport now 1-1, and it comes from Simicast. Two Southampton players go for the same ball. Harwood Bellis, downward header from Jones, and then hooked over the crossbar and hooked high by Nunez. MK Dons 1, Morecambe 1 is the latest score in League 2. Now at the top of the Championship, Sheffield United 0, Preston 0. Burnley are leading the 10 men of Luton Town by 2-0. Sunderland against Cardiff City. Sunderland were ahead. John Bennett.
Equaliser for Cardiff City. Sunderland 1, Cardiff City 1. Isaac Davis with the goal. A cross wasn't dealt with by the goalkeeper. Fell to him back post. Low finish. Sunderland 1, Cardiff City 1.
That's fourth top against fourth bottom. Plymouth Argyle are next to bottom, and not going too good for them this afternoon. John Akers.
Sheffield Wednesday have done really well in this first half. It's Callum Patterson with the goal to make it 2-0 to potentially keep their season alive. Plymouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
Sports Report at 5. We'll have all the results and all the reaction before Brentford against Aston Villa at 5:30. Conor McNamara and Matt Upson, and then Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will take your calls at around 7:30 on 606 08085 909 693. We've got 90 seconds to go of normal time, still expecting quite a bit of added on time here at Anfield. But it remains 0-0, and as predicted, we will be having 5 minutes as the ball goes over the head of Szoboszlai. Salah tries to win it back. They do succeed in getting the ball back. In fact, Nunez is adjudged to have handled that ball by the referee, Lewis Smith. James Burridge watching Ireland-France.
France are bossing this second half. 2 tries, and now Thomas Ramos has just knocked over another penalty. 25 points to 13, France lead.
Commentary on Sports Extra as Ramsdale takes his time. There is quite a lull in the atmosphere now here at Anfield as Ramsdale hits that so long.
He's meant to do that. I mean, that's...
But no, that was a good 30 yards ahead of every Southampton player. One bounce and it was out for a goal kick.
That was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's had a little look over to the bench. I mean, that's think that's saying we'd take a point, Ian, isn't it?
Stevenage 1, Mansfield Town 0. They probably would take a point, to be fair. Chesterfield 2, Newport County 1. So Chesterfield have quickly turned that around with 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. We'll be very soon going into that official 5 minutes, a minimum of 5 minutes here at Anfield, as Alexander-Arnold goes towards Nunez. But Bella Kotchap was tight behind him. Smallbone helped out. They released the ball to Sulemana, and Alexander-Arnold runs it out of play for a Southampton throw. So into stoppage time we go, goalless.
Yeah, and Sulemana's actually been a good ball carrier for Southampton. Got them up the pitch, driving there. Wins his team a throw in. Smallbone winning the ball back initially. He's given that back line of Southampton good protection. And it's turning out to be an awkward afternoon for Liverpool. You've got to earn titles. Maybe, people looking forward to Tuesday.
Nobody's picked up the run of Smallbone, and Van Dijk leaves it for Alisson. Alisson doesn't get there. Smallbone slots the ball in. Confusion at the heart of the Liverpool defence with Van Dijk and Alisson, and Smallbone took full advantage. He slotted the ball into the Kop end. What a surprising scoreline here. The league leaders Liverpool 0, bottom of the table Southampton 1.
I don't think anybody saw that coming. I mentioned it had been a nervy afternoon for Liverpool so far. Alisson having a word with the referee. I think he thought there was some sort of foul in there, but it's just a simple throw in left-hand side. Smallbone drives into the box. Van Dijk lets it run through to Alisson. Alisson doesn't use his hands. He just prods the ball out with his right boot, and then Smallbone from the angle, left-hand side of the box, looks to square it back, but instead reverses it back into the goal. It's a brilliant finish. It's a clever finish. Alisson suggesting there was contact. I think it was Fernandez on him, but not enough in that, I don't think. And he actually nutmegs Alisson. Smallbone. It's a clever finish, brilliant finish, and Southampton stunned Liverpool.
Who for you was at fault, Alisson or Van Dijk?
I think Alisson should come with his hands and just pick it up. He didn't. He went with his foot. And it's the softest of goals. And now Liverpool, I think Liverpool fans rocking up today would have thought this is going to be a formality. They're going to have to work at it now.
Leyton Orient 0, Northampton Town 2. And there you have the perfect illustration of how life can change very, very quickly for a goalkeeper. When you make the saves, they say, oh, he's expected to make those saves. Oh, that was a crude challenge by Nunez. He has just kicked out and scythed down Walker-Peters. That was extremely crude.
Well, what's he doing? I think he'll see yellow, but there's no attempt to win the ball, and he just a careless kick out. Walker-Peters, who had got beyond him the other side. Yeah, yellow card out, referee's hand. I think that's right, but what's he playing at? Got to control himself, and Liverpool losing control before half-time here.
So days after the performance of his life against Paris Saint-Germain, Alisson and Van Dijk break down in communication. And the fact that they actually haven't had a look at this would suggest that VAR would be maybe looking at a potential red, because the free kick hasn't been able to be taken. Again, you wouldn't have a clue inside the stadium that VAR are doing that, but I'm only surmising. But are they looking for serious foul play?
Maybe so, I think.
The VAR, incidentally, is Matt Donoghue in the VAR.
I don't know how far away from the ball Nunez was, but it was such a reckless, daft challenge.
In your opinion, was it serious foul play or violent conduct? Because they're the two elements that would ultimately warrant a straight red. Yeah, they are now looking at it. We've got confirmation of a VAR. Let's get an update from Pat Murphy at the Hawthorns. No. Darnell Furlong, I'm told, has been sent off for West Bromwich Albion. West Brom 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. In fact, we can go to Pat now.
As I was saying, Darryl Furlong send off, straight red card, elbow Koki Said to the winger. No doubt at all in the referee's mind. West Brom furious. They'll now play a couple of minutes and the next second half with 10 men, but they're leading 1-0.
Thanks, Pat. So after that VAR check, it's just the yellow card.
Yeah, and I just wonder whether there was whether, you know, looking at the replay, whether, let's say, well, Nunes did make an attempt to win the ball, but it's just stupidity from him. I don't think he did. I think he's gotten away with one there. But Liverpool lucky to have 11 on the pitch.
In Southampton with Sulemana, who's a bit of a live wire, passes the ball out towards Dibbling. Tsimikas there with the interception, gets there first. Tsimikas over the halfway line. Salah stays out wide. Tsimikas can't release the ball, he's all on his left foot. Couldn't get the angle to switch it with his right towards that right-hand side towards Salah. Alexander-Arnold now runs forward, the league leaders are behind. Salah, who's been quiet, comes in field, continues to come in field, and blocked by Smallboat. Falls to Van Dijk. We're in stoppage time, where Liverpool are behind. Here is Diaz. Diaz now goes on the outside of Walker-Peters, just about keeps the ball in play. Left-hand side of the penalty area, Tsimikas with a cross. Salah lets it run through. Alexander-Arnold doesn't hit it first time. Now the good block comes in from Manning. Just threw his body in front of it. Szoboszlai keeps the ball in play on that far side. Konate, that goal has certainly sparked Liverpool into life, but they give the ball away through Fernandes. Let's go to Dublin. Latest from James Burridge.
And France are blowing Ireland away. They've scored their bonus point try. Replacement forward Oscar Jeju dots the ball down. Ramos kicks it through. That's 3 second half tries from France. And the scoreline, 32 points to 13.
Wow, commentary on Sports Extra. Szoboszlai. Here is Salah. Excellent challenge made by Manning. It looked like it was going past him, and then a last-ditch challenge by Manning just carved it away from the path of Salah. There is the half-time whistle, and nobody expected this scoreline. Started the commentary by talking about a potential home banker. Anything but. Liverpool 0, Southampton 1.
Yeah, it just hasn't happened for Liverpool, and Southampton have shocked them with a small bone goal. An error, I think, from Alisson. Maybe Van Dijk as well could have done better to try and usher a ball back to Alisson, but Alisson wasn't decisive. And all of a sudden Southampton find themselves in front. They've defended deep, they've defended brilliantly at times, last-ditch blocks, but Liverpool have got serious work to do in this second half.
Yes, they do, because not many expected this scoreline. It's Liverpool 0, Southampton 1.
Worth the petrol money?
I knew you were going to say that. So I was praying that the small bone goal would be ruled out.
Can I just say, if you're claiming expenses, I'm giving you a lift back to Salford. It's my petrol.
Thank you very much to you both. Second half on the way. Liverpool 0, Southampton 1. Remember, in the early game, Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 0. Only 3 games at 3 o'clock in the Premier League. Next to the Amex, all square at the break. John Southall.
Yep, Brighton 1, Fulham 1. We had 35 minutes of mediocrity. Then the Fulham goal, lovely cross from Iwobi on the right-hand side. Jan-Paul van Hekken misjudged it. Raul Jimenez didn't, and he smashed it into the back post. 10th league goal of the season. The equaliser 7 minutes later. Free kick met by Van Hekken, who headed in off the left post. His first goal of this for the club. Good finish as well. Brighton 1, Fulham 1.
All square at Selhurst Park as well. Chris Coles.
But no goals in this one. Palace 0, Ipswich 0. It's had its moments, particularly in the opening 10 minutes, both sides creating their best chances early. Wharton's through ball to Nketiah, denied by a smothering Palmer save. Philogene for Ipswich on the end of a cutback. Henderson diving low to save. The chances that followed not of the same quality. Lerma from range and Enciso shooting at the keeper from an angle. A bit more care needed from both in the final third. Crystal Palace 0, Ipswich 0.
Into the Championship earlier. Coventry 3, Stoke 2 and Watford 1, Millwall 2. As far as the 3 o'clocks are concerned, we'll start at Bramall Lane. Julia Bold.
It is Sheffield United 0, Preston 0. Chris Wilder went down the tunnel at half-time, shaking his head because he knows his side have had more possession and some good chances to go in front, but we're yet to see a goal here. Tyrese Campbell and Gustavo Harmer both been clear on goal but have shot wide. Preston have been defending with all they have, and they did have a penalty shout. Brad Potts looked to have been brought down, by Vinny Souza in the box. The ref waved it away. Half-time, Sheffield United 0, Preston 0.
3 red cards in the Championship already this afternoon. One of them's come at Turf Moor. Katie Smith.
Burnley 2, 10-man Luton 0, and with that score at Sheffield United, Burnley up to second in the live table right now on goal difference. Game burst into life after 19 minutes. Cal Naismith of Luton sent off for a second yellow. Then Mark McGuinness brought on to prop up Luton's back line. Only 5 minutes later, his botched clearance giving Burnley the lead. Lyle Foster adding another, side-footing in a ball from the right. Luton sitting deep. This second half could be pretty horrible to come from them. 5 points from safety, and they're trailing 2-0.
Sunderland 1, Cardiff 1 at the break. Details from John Bennett.
Yeah, frustration for Sunderland following a dream start. In form, Elisa Maenda with an emphatic finish on 2 minutes. Patrick Roberts played him in after winning the ball back. Sunderland were in control at that stage. Romain Mundell, the winger, a constant danger, but they didn't get the second, and Cardiff equalised. O'Dowda's cross not dealt with by the goalkeeper, who thought he was fouled. The ball fell to Isaac Davis, who scored on his first start of the season. Maenda then hit the side netting, but at half-time it's Sunderland 1, Cardiff City 1.
West Brom, another side down to 10 at the break, but they do lead. Pat Murphy.
2 controversial decisions by the referee. Adam Hergseg just before half-time. He ruled that Morgan had tripped Malumbi. Penalty to Armstrong converted. And then Furlong, West Brom's fullback, sent off, straight red card, allegedly elbowing Saito in the face. We'll see how West Brom hang on to that lead. They lead QPR 1-0.
And the third red card of the Championship afternoon has gone to Hull, but they lead as well at Bristol City. Owain Gwyneth.
Yeah, Bristol City 0, Hull City 1. After dominating the early stages, Hull took a deserved lead with a well-taken goal by João Pedro. But a minute later, the Brazilian-born Italy-capped striker unnecessarily lunged into a tackle with George Tanner just inside the Bristol City half and was shown a straight red. Bristol City have pressured Hull's defence with plenty of crosses. Centre forward Sinclair Armstrong missing the best one, headed over from close range. Bristol City 0, Hull City 1.
Going well for John Eustace against his former club, Lee Blakeman.
Great game this has been, Mark. Derby 2, Blackburn 1. Derby 2 up inside the first 7 minutes. Forsyth with the first, Adams with the second. Blackburn got one back through Maktar Gay. Great finish, 5 before half-time. It's been wide open for the most part, and as things stand, Derby are off the bottom of the table. Derby 2, Blackburn 1.
Replaced by Plymouth, John Akers.
And as things stand, Plymouth fans around me feel like that's it. Feel like that if they don't have a miraculous comeback in the second half, that could be their season. Plymouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Ogbeta couldn't deal with a cross from the left-hand side and put it through his own goal. And then Patterson with a really cool finish. They've been undone down the left-hand side twice, Plymouth. It's Plymouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2.
Just one Championship game that we're not at this afternoon, and that's at Swansea, and the home side lead Middlesbrough by a goal to nil. Yeom Ji-sung. With that, in the early games in League One, both finished all square. Crawley and Reading 1-1, Stockport 0, Charlton 0. Goalless is also the scoreline involving the leaders this afternoon. Birmingham, they're at home to Lincoln. Adam Cottier.
They are having to play the patient game, Birmingham City here. Lots of possession. They've had the best openings too. Emil Hansen curled wide just before half-time. That's probably the closest they've come. Taylor Gardner-Hickman also had a left-foot volley saved by Wickens in the Lincoln goal. Lincoln playing well. Birmingham 0, Lincoln 0.
Good news for Birmingham is that the sides behind them aren't taking advantage as yet. Second place Wycombe behind, Adam Whitty.
Yeah, they've been poor. They trail Peterborough by 1-0. Posh have been in total control. Malik Mothersil's penalty the difference, but Bradley, Eovian and Mothersill came close to adding a second. Posh going 8 points clear of the drop zone as it stands. Wycombe's hold on an automatic promotion place, which seemed certain 6 weeks ago, might just be slipping. Peterborough 1, Wycombe 0 at the break.
Third place Wrexham being held though as well. Mark Webber.
They are Wrexham 0, Rotherham 0. The keepers at each end and in their corner this half with a super save each to keep it goalless. Audible groans from the Wrexham fans as they fluffed multiple chances. Sam Smith with 2. They came close after some early Rotherham pressure. Rotherham Malik Wilt had a point-blank shot at the Wrexham keeper who made himself big to block. And then towards the end of the half, Rotherham keeper Dylan Phillips diving low to his left to stop a goal going in from Matty James to make it Wrexham 0, Rotherham 0.
Elsewhere in League One, it's goalless between Barnsley and Blackpool. Bristol Rovers lead Huddersfield by a goal to nil. Ruel Satiriou with that, 5 for the season for him. Burton 0, Bolton 1. Exeter, who have got just one win from their last 12 in the league, lead bottom of the table. Shrewsbury by a goal to nil. Leyton Orient could be on course for a 5th straight defeat in the league because they trail Northampton by 2 goals to nil at the break. At home, Cameron McGeehan getting the second of those goals for Kevin Nolan's side, and he's now got 9 for the season. Stevenage lead Mansfield by a goal to 0. Jamie Reid's 10th of the season, the difference between the two sides there, and it's goalless between Wigan and Cambridge. In League 2, AFC Wimbledon 2, Notts County 0 and Walsall 1, Grimsby 3 is how it finished earlier, and because of Walsall's defeat, Bradford could go top this afternoon if they win at Gillingham. Charlotte Richardson.
It's Gillingham 0, Bradford 0. Bradford enjoyed dominant spells throughout the opening half, had their best chance when former Gills player George Lapsley pressed the ball, winning possession for Jamie Walker to feed Tommy Lee in behind. He was thwarted by Gills keeper Glenn Morris, quick off his line to close the angle, make himself big and block the shot. The visitors looking the more likely to score. It is a massive second half to come for them. If Bradford can break that deadlock, take those 3 points home, as you say, Mark, they will finish the day top of League 2. At the break, though, it's Gillingham 0, Bradford 0.
Elsewhere, Barrow 1, Accrington 0. Goalless between Cheltenham and Colchester. Chesterfield were a goal down at home to Newport, but they turned it round very quickly to lead by 2-1. Doncaster 2, Swindon 0. Rob Street getting the first of their goals, 7 for the season for him. It's goalless between Fleetwood and Port Vale and between Harrogate and Carlisle. MK Dons 1, Morecambe 1, Salford 0, Crewe 0 and Tranmere 1, Bromley 1. Michael Cheeks, 18th of the season, putting Bromley ahead there. Josh Hawkes of Tranmere getting the equaliser. Earlier in the National League, leaders Barnet beat Dagenham and Redbridge by a goal to 0 to go 12 clear of York at the top of the table, having played 2 games more. In the 3 o'clock games, AFC Fylde 0, Braintree 1, Aldershot 1, Gateshead 1, Boston 0, Woking 1, Eastleigh 1, Hartlepool 1, Halifax 1, Yeovil 0, Maidenhead 0, Sutton 1, Rochdale lead Wealdstone 1-0, Solihull Moors 1, Ebbsfleet 1, Southend are 2 up on Altrincham, and it's Tamworth 1, Oldham 1. In the no Scottish Premiership games this afternoon, it's Scottish Cup quarter-final weekend. Earlier, Aberdeen beat Queen's Park to join Hearts in the semi-finals. In the Championship this afternoon, Airdrieonians 0, Hamilton 0. Leaders Falkirk are a goal up on Dunfermline. It's Morton 0, Ayr 1. In League 1, Alloa 0, Arbroath 1. Annan 0, Stenhouse Muir 1. Cove Rangers 2, Queen of the South 1. Goalless between Dumbarton and Inverness and Kelty Hearts and Montrose. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Edinburgh City 0. The leaders East Fife are a goal up on Clyde. Elgin 0, Forfar 0. Elgin down to 10. Also goalless between Spartans and Stirling and Stranraer and Peterhead. Back to the Aviva Stadium, where France have absolutely annihilated Ireland in the second half. James Burridge.
And you know, Mark, how he talked about the bench and the importance. My goodness, Fabien Galtier's got it spot on. It was risky, it was a gamble, but the heft, the ferocious power that he has unleashed in this second half, Ireland have had no answer to it at all as they try and throw some desperate shapes in the 7 minutes until half-time. 35 points to 13, one of France's biggest ever results, potentially coming here in Dublin. 3 tries in this second half, and actually Ireland started brilliantly. They came out and scored within 2 minutes through Dan Sheehan. France looked asleep, but my goodness, they then woke up big time. 3 tries. Biabari has been brilliant, and as Ireland desperately try and get a try, they're trying to get within a bonus point, because points are going to make such a big difference as we go into the final weekend. They've got to try and get a bonus point to get the game within 7, as they're coming back for a penalty, but it has been all power and they've had no answer to it.
And James, if it comes down to actually points differential, then France are way ahead as well, aren't they?
Well, because they completely thumped Italy 2 weeks ago, as you'll remember, in Rome. And so Ireland are desperately trying to get something out of this game. They've got 6.5 minutes to do it, but the writing is on the wall. And we talked all the week about statement victories. In fact, you know, France have now intercepted from 5 metres from their own line, and they're going to try and race this one home. Has Damien Penaud got the legs on Prendergast? Yes, he has. That is the clinching score. It has shattered Ireland's Grand Slam dream, and this Six Nations title is there for the taking. France have produced an outstanding second half here in Dublin, one of their biggest victories under Fabien Galtier, and my goodness me, nobody saw this result coming. France 40 with the conversion to come, Ireland 13.
And that conversion right in front of the post, so you would expect them to go 42-13 up. Back to Anfield shortly, where Liverpool trail Southampton by a goal to 0 at the break, after John Barnes and the news.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
The Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has said that failing to stand up to Russia only leads to more tragedy in Ukraine after another night of Russian air attacks on the country. At least 20 people were killed in the assault by Russia. A body has been found in the search for a suspect after a woman was killed in a shooting on Valentine's Day in Kent. Edvard Stockings is suspected of shooting his wife Lisa Smith in the car park of a pub in Knockholt. 2 teenage boys have been arrested in connection with the death of a 15-year-old boy in Glasgow. Ayman Telke suffered fatal injuries following an incident on Wednesday evening. And a pro-Palestinian group has vandalised parts of Donald Trump's Turnberry Golf Resort in Scotland. Activists said it was in response to the US President's statements on Gaza.
On BBC iPlayer.
A wandering salamander. To find a mate, he sets out on an extraordinary journey that has never been filmed before.
Explore the wildlife and spectacular natural beauty of the Americas.
It's an epic journey where we search for the wild and the wonderful.
Narrated by Tom Hanks.
It's up close, it is shocking, and it's beautiful.
The Americas. Watch on BBC iPlayer. This is 5 Live Sports
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
The conversion went over, so it's 42-13. Some of the second halves underway in the football. Dimitri Mitchell, with his 6th of the season, has doubled Exeter's lead in League One at home to Shrewsbury. And Wrexham have scored early at the start of the second half. Haven't won in their last 4 at home in the league, but they lead Rotherham by a goal to nil thanks to Sam Smith. 3 minutes into the second half. Once Ireland-France is over, Scotland-Wales takes over on Sports Extra. Jamie Lyle.
Well, I think, Mark, the complexion of this game has changed markedly over the past few weeks. As Scotland's hopes of challenging for the title waned and withered for another year, Wales look to be renewed and reinvigorated by new coach Matt Sherratt. Remember, still in an unprecedented 15-game losing streak, but imbued with such hope, such positivity, having run the champions Ireland so close in Cardiff. It's a fascinating psychological dynamic, and it all kicks off in around 40 minutes' time, 4:45.
Thank you. Ireland have just gone over and scored a try. Healy with it, and I think they've converted that virtually immediately as well. So that now takes the score to 42 points to 20. About to get back underway at Anfield. Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, where Southampton are leading by a goal to nil. And Arne Slot, who of course remember is suspended, is in the stands for this second of his 2-match touchline ban, has actually made a triple change at the start of this second half. So Robertson has come on for Tsimikas at left back. Harvey Elliott, after that smash and grab raid, the pickpocket from Paris, he has come on for Jones in the midfield. And McAllister has replaced Szoboszlai. Liverpool, all in red, playing from left to right as we look. They're unbeaten at Anfield in 18 games, where they have scored at least 2 in each of those 18 fixtures. As Nunez tries to win the ball back, Southampton haven't made any alterations at half-time, but they did use that concussion substitute during the first half. I'll run through the 2 teams for you as Wrexham are leading Rotherham United by a goal to nil. And Exeter City 2, Shrewsbury nil is the latest score also. Liverpool win a corner kick. Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Konate, Robertson, Elliott, Gravenberch, McAllister, Diaz, Salah and Nunez. Southampton, Ramsdale, Walker-Peters, Bella Kotchap the substitute, Harwood, Bellis and Manning, Dibbling, Smallbone the goal scorer, Ugo Chukwu, Fernandez, Sulemana and Grombeek. Southampton defending the Kop in their luminous yellow shirts and navy shorts are playing from right to left as we look. Swindon have got a goal back at Doncaster. Doncaster Rovers 2, Swindon 1. We'll get the thoughts of Chris Sutton the start of the second half after this corner kick, where Ramsdale jumps up and down on his goal line. It's an in-swinger, plenty of loft, plenty of height towards the far post. Salah leaves it for Elliott, drives it in. Ramsdale, superb save.
Yeah, what a save this is from Ramsdale. It's a corner deep to the back post. Mo Salah picks the ball up and feeds Elliott, who right-footed hammers a shot and is heading into the far corner. Ramsdale down to his right-hand side, tips it round the far post. Sensational goalkeeping.
Excellent reflex save, two-handed down to his right. In comes the corner kick. Again, it's from that far side. Headed back out towards McAllister. Level with the penalty area on the left. Ball is hit forward, diagonal ball. Manning tucked in the left back. Elliott goes over the top, commits himself. Dibbling now picks it up. The counter-attack is on for Southampton. Sulemana now has the ball midway through the Liverpool half. Sulemana does a little step over, cuts inside, shoots, blocked by Elliott. Nunez with a flick on. Salah trying to get in between the two Southampton defenders. Couldn't get the touch. And there was Bella Kotchap to see it back towards Ramsdale.
Yeah, but you just sense the atmosphere inside the stadium. Ian has gone up a notch, and Liverpool, decisive substitutions from Arne Slot at half-time. Three brought on to bring extra energy and vigour. And you feel they're going to come out in this second half and play with the desired intensity to try and get back into this game.
Setback for Doncaster Rovers and their automatic promotion hopes in League Two. They were 2-0 up against Swindon, but Swindon with 2 goals in a minute have equalised. It's 2-2. Diaz running forward. Diaz, edge of the D, leaves it for Salah. Salah shot blocked by Howard Bellis. And then it's Alexander-Arnold who touches the ball back inside the centre circle, all the way back to Alisson. 3 minutes into the second half. The noise inside Anfield there was so loud, I actually couldn't hear the studio instruction as to where we were going to go next. But it will be to Selhurst Park and Chris Coles,
where Crystal Palace have just hit the post. Still 0-0 with Ipswich. Eberechi Eze's shot from the edge of the area took a massive deflection, sent it spiralling into the sky, beat the keeper, dropped against the frame of the goal. Still Palace 0, Ipswich 0.
Robertson's just dropped a cross in from the left, and Manning wasn't sure where Salah was, and he's volleyed it behind for a corner.
Well, I'll tell you where Salah was. He was outstanding on the edge of the box, and he's got to attack that area, that back post. The brilliant ball in from Robertson, blind ball in, but into a good area. Manning taking no chances.
Liverpool are now certainly playing with a greater tempo as they trail. McAllister with a corner kick, right-hand side. It's an outswinger. Ramsdale's got something on it, down towards Alexander-Arnold. Scooped goalwards by Robertson, and scooped wide off the left boot, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Full time now in Ireland in the Six Nations. James Burridge.
A thumping victory for France, 42 points to 27, one of Fabien Galtier's best ever. Their power was unrelenting and Ireland had no answer. 4 second half tries for Les Bleus, and Ireland's Grand Slam dream is in tatters. We are set for a fascinating final weekend. France go top for now, 2 points clear of Ireland.
England play Italy tomorrow, 3 o'clock commentary. That'll be live on the BBC Sport website. Scotland-Wales gets underway at 4:45 at Murrayfield. Commentary on Sports Extra. As Burton Albion have equalised at home to Bolton Wanderers in League One. Burton 1, Bolton 1 is the latest score. In the Premier League, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Fulham 1. Crystal Palace 0, Ipswich Town 0. Earlier, Nottingham Forest beat Manchester City by 1-0. And Southampton leading here by 1-0. Alexander-Arnold with the throw, reaches Nunez, cut out by Bella Kotchap, only as far as Harvey Elliott. Tried to play Alexander-Arnold on the overlap on the right-hand side, bobbling ball, and Manning can clear it for Southampton. It's going to be backs to the wall for the Saints.
It is. We saw one from Manning in the first half. Nobody up the pitch for Southampton, everybody behind the ball, and Manning just punting the ball into touch there. And Liverpool is like attack v defence, isn't it? And that's the way it's going to be in this second half.
Barnsley 0, Blackpool 1 is the latest scoreline in League One. Robertson to Diaz. Diaz on his toes, running in off that left touchline, goes towards the byline. Diaz towards Nunez! Darwin Nunez with the goal from close range. Right-footed, hit it early, hit it hard, hit it low past Ramsdale. The roar inside Anfield will tell you the league lead is 11 at 1-1.
Yeah, different Liverpool in this second half. Direct from Diaz on that left-hand side, driving at Walker-Peters, shifts the ball, gets to the byline, pulls it across the 6-yard line, and Darwin Nunez on the move gets the vital touch. Ramsdale, he made a sensational save at the start of the second half. No chance with that one. Liverpool level.
They might have the small matter of a League Cup final next weekend. They might have an enticing Champions League midweek tie against Paris Saint-Germain. But you speak to any Liverpool supporter, the one trophy they crave the most is the Premier League title, and they're level at 1-1. Bramall Lane has seen a goal. Julia Bold.
Sheffield United 1, Preston 0. The ball came in from the left-hand side, and it was a diving header by Tyrese Campbell to eventually break the deadlock. It's Sheffield United 1, Preston 0.
Diaz with a shot, saved by Ramsdale. Liverpool at the moment, it's all Liverpool. This is Luis Diaz. Penalty. Liverpool have been awarded a penalty. Darwin Núñez was fouled inside the area. The referee tried to let the game flow, brought it back. Liverpool have an opportunity now to take the lead.
Well, Southampton players surrounding the referee. They're not happy with this award of a penalty. Let's have a look. Is there contact? I think it's a soft one, in truth. Darwin Núñez gets his body in on small bone, but the fact he's awarded the penalty, the referee, I don't think they'll overturn it, but it's as soft as can be. Núñez has played for that.
Thing is, earlier in the season you heard the referee's call. Yeah. It would take a lot to change the referee's call.
Absolutely, but it's so minimal. For Núñez to hit the deck, as he does do, and stay down, I can understand Southampton's frustration, Ian, I really can, but what a turnaround from Liverpool. Start of this second half, they've gone through the levels, haven't they? Up a gear, 2 gears, 3 gears. And there's Salah placing the ball on the spot.
The penalty stands. Liverpool have scored all 7 Premier League penalties this season. It's Mo Salah. 30 goals already to his name for this campaign. He waits. Ramsdale is on the goal line. Liverpool 1, Southampton 1. There's the referee's whistle. Salah takes his time, runs to his right, runs up now, left-footed, and scores! Mo Salah, outright third in Liverpool's all-timers list of goal scorers, with goal 242. And it's the second goal of the afternoon that puts them in front by 2 goals to 1.
Did we expect anything else? It's a brilliant penalty. Goes to Ramsdale's right-hand side. Ramsdale guesses correctly, but he can't get near it. Emphatic from Salah. And Liverpool, this second half, blimey. They've been hungry, they've played with the intensity, and now they're in front.
Only Roger Hunt with 285 and Ian Rush with 346 goals have scored more than Mo Salah. Bristol City 1, Hull City 1. Gillingham are leading Bradford City by 1-0, so Bradford City might miss out on an opportunity to go to the top of League 2. And there's been another goal at Turf Moor. Katie Smith.
Burnley 3, 10-man Luton 0. Top scorer Josh Brownhill getting the final touch, slamming it home. The ball brought in on the right-hand side from Edwards, taking it from the byline. I've got to say, from my vantage point, it looked like the ball had gone out, but the goal stands. Burnley 3, Luton 0.
And Liverpool also, with that second goal from Mo Salah, have once again scored at least 2 now in each of their 19 games here at Anfield. Unbeaten in the previous 18 by doing so. Leyton Orient have got a goal back. Leyton Orient 1, Northampton Town 2. But that change of attitude, application in the second half has reaped its rewards, 11 minutes into the second period.
Yeah, and just greater intensity. They're running harder. They've put Southampton under pressure. They've suffocated them. Southampton haven't been able to get out. And it's a totally different Liverpool performance we've seen in this second half. Didn't take them long, did it, after half-time? To now go in front. And they know what it means. You mentioned, their desire to win another Premier League title this season. They want to win as many trophies as they can, but that's the one Liverpool fans want to win. And they've been noisier, Ian, in this second half, haven't they?
Oh, yes, they have. They've played their part too. And they will be noisy on Tuesday night, mark my words, for the visit of Paris Saint-Germain. Burton Albion 1, Bolton Wanderers 2 is the latest score in League One. Southampton, who were leading at half-time, and now just having to hang in the game, because Liverpool were looking to try and release Luis Diaz, but it went and reached Ramsdale, who bowled the ball out towards Manning. But Liverpool have certainly pepped things up in the second half. and now lead by 2 goals to 1. Back towards Ramsdale it goes, who floats it out towards that far side. Arne Slot making that triple change. McAllister heads it on. Southampton get a free kick. I wonder where we'll go next then. News of the Bristol City goal it is, with Owain Gwyneth.
Bristol City 1, Hull City 1. Anis Memeti scores his 12th of the season from the penalty spot, sending the keeper the wrong way to put it in the bottom left. Sinclair Armstrong winning the penalty. Bristol City 1, Hull City 1.
Well, Bradford City second in League 2 against a Gillingham team who only have won 1 win in their last 15. However, they are leading. Charlotte Richardson.
Gillingham 1, Bradford 0. Connor Masterson gives the host the lead from a corner. Masterson with his back towards goal, able to turn and powerfully strike the ball through a busy 6-yard area into the back of the net. Gillingham 1, Bradford 0.
Good news for Walsall supporters. Their team have been faltering of late. Only 2 wins in their last 11. Losing today at home to Grimsby Town by 3 goals to 1. It's all Liverpool now, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, they're totally on top. But the other noticeable difference, Ian, is that they're really running harder. Southampton not getting a moment's peace, a chance to any of the Southampton players to get on the ball and get the heads up and make a pass. Liverpool are smothering them, dominating them.
You've played in big European games, and when you know you've got one on the horizon, as Liverpool have against Paris Saint-Germain, as a player, how hard is it not to look too far ahead?
No, I sort of get it, and I think it was a case, no disrespect to Southampton before this game, where maybe they're going into it, and Southampton's record, they've been particularly poor this season, bottom of the Premier League by a distance, where you're just expecting something to happen rather than players going out and making it happen. And that's been the difference in the first 12-13 minutes in this second half. Greater desire, intensity, and they've got the rewards.
Passing the ball as well, a lot sharper and quicker in this second period. Barnsley 0, Blackpool 2. Team news now from Brentford for our 5:30 commentary. Conor McNamara.
Thomas Frank makes one change from Brentford's draw against Everton 10 days ago. Christian Norgard has recovered from concussion. He comes back into the midfield in place of Yarmolenko. Villa won in Bruges in the Champions League on Tuesday. 2 changes here, one of them in goal. Robin Olsen back for Emi Martinez, who's a back injury. Jacob Ramsey replaces Marcus Rashford, who's on the bench.
Matt Upson will be alongside Connor for commentary of that game at Brentford. After Sports Report, we'll bring you the results and the reaction. Diaz running forward and running hard on that far side, the left. Again, they double up on him, but he looks to try and squeeze in between the 2 Southampton players. Pulls it back. Robertson has a shot. That was blocked. Comes to Van Dijk. Van Dijk will pass it to Alexander-Arnold, who shoots and shoots wide. Right-footed, off-target goal kick. Liverpool now lead 2-1.
Yeah, that low backlift from Alexander-Arnold, all sorts of movement on the ball, but as well wide, I think, of Ramsdale's right-hand post. Goes for power. Núñez, I tell you, middle of the goal, wasn't far off getting a touch there.
Said before that we're entering the final straight for Liverpool before today. 10 games remaining, 6 of them at home, and they're looking to use their home advantage to full effect as they lead by 2 goals to 1. To the South Coast, John Southall.
Brighton 1, Fulham 1, really tight this. Brighton have had a goal disallowed. Matoma tucked it in, but Minte was offside when he crossed the ball. We played 64 minutes. Here come Fulham, cleared away by Brighton. Brighton 1, Fulham 1.
Salah almost got Núñez in, stopped by Harwood Bellis, plays it short to Ugo Chukwu. Back with the England international Harwood Bellis, who then hits the ball over the top. Ivan Juric, who, the 49-year-old Croatian, patrolling that tiny technical area down below as we sit in our lofty position here in the main stand on this bright afternoon on Merseyside. He's lost 9 of his 10 games in the Premier League.
Ivan the Terrible, you could say, but it's not all on him this season, is it?
It's not. When you consider the poor start that they had, that was a terrible start. 1 point from 27, 9 without a win. They were always behind the 8 ball with a start such as that. Here is Alexander-Arnold, and even regardless what they may have dreamt of today, still destined to go back to the Championship. Southampton, when you've only won 2 out of 27 games all season.
I mean, the fact they'd lost 22, I mean, is an incredibly poor record, isn't it? But I tell you, this afternoon, first half, they more than competed, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Hung in there, blocks in and around the box, frustrated Liverpool. But they have been blown away in this second half. and they have barely been in the Liverpool half.
Only Sheffield United in top division history have had fewer points at this stage of a season, when they had 8 in the 75-76 campaign. MK Dons have come from behind. They now lead Morecambe by 2-1 in League Two, for Ben Gladwin as their interim after the departure of Scott Lindsay. McAllister strokes it towards Diaz. Liverpool, after that tempo now, the way that they're playing, there's that element of control. They've reasserted themselves in this game as they've come from behind. Here is Diaz, who passes the ball behind the referee, Lewis Smith, in his ultra blue referee's jersey. Manning cuts it out from reaching Salah. Manning then lifts it away from Elliott. Little touch with his head. Salah barges Manning over. It'll be a free kick to Southampton. He wants to take it quickly, but there's nobody there. We'll go now to South London. Chris Coles.
Crystal Palace 0, Ipswich 0. The chances continue to flow. The goals do not. Henderson unconvincing from a corner. Luckily, Sarr just behind him cleared off the line. And Eze at the other end for Palace. A shot well saved by the backpedalling Palmer. Still, somehow, Palace 0, Ipswich 0.
Sugawara is going to come on for Dibbling, and Archer is also going to be coming on, Cameron Archer, and he will replace Albert Grombeek, the Danish international. Double change being made for Southampton in an attempt to try and get back onto to level terms, as Liverpool lead by 2-1. Chris.
Yeah, Cameron Archer will go as a central striker, play up top in Southampton, and maybe more of a focal point, a target type, and someone who'll play higher up and occupy the two Liverpool centre-halves. They didn't set up in the first half in that same sort of system and style. They played 2 up top, but they were withdrawn to Grombeek and Fernandes. It's a little tweak there.
64 minutes played. Archer had made the run. That was cut out by the Liverpool defence. Now it's with McAllister, Nunez. Here is Diaz. Van Dijk just over the halfway line, left of the centre circle, playing from left to right, attacking the Kop end. No other goals to tell you about elsewhere around the country. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. Later, Brentford against Aston Villa. 6:06 to come as well with Chris and Robbie. As Diaz stopped in his tracks, Smallbone, who gave Southampton the lead, then hits the ball up towards Archer. Van Dijk glides back and then on the run heads it towards Gravenberch, and Liverpool are once again on the front foot with McAllister coming forward, low to the feet of Diaz, able to turn. Diaz enters the area, crosses the ball, Elliott on the rise, and his header drops over the top for a goal kick.
Diaz has been much more lively, as most of the Liverpool players in this second half, and Elliott's brought a little spark, hasn't he? Maybe expected that after his goal in Paris. Good run into the box, just can't direct the header on target. And just looking at Southampton's setup, Sugawara has gone into that right back position, and Kyle Walker-Peters just playing up one.
As Ramsdale bides his time in his all-purple goalkeeping outfit and hits it right-footed downfield. But Konate comes a long way out of defence to head that on this near side, the right. Salford City have just taken the lead at home to Crewe by 1-0 in League Two, as Alexander-Arnold tidies up in the midfield to Van Dijk. Gravenberch caught in possession by Fernandes, and Sulemana can come forward. Southampton still remain in the game, as McAllister, though, stops the run of Sulemana on the edge of the area. They try and hoist it away downfield towards Diaz. A goal at Plymouth, John Akers.
Sheffield Wednesday season is still alive. It's Plymouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Super finish from Gassama. Plymouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 3.
I know the Sheffield Wednesday fans don't like to hear it, but Danny Roll is somebody who has been linked in the past with Southampton and is being talked about once again as a potential Southampton manager, as they are leading 3-0 at Home Park. Birmingham City and Lincoln, a penalty at St Andrews in League One. Adam Cottier.
For Birmingham City, and to be taken by Kieran Dowell. Iwata fouled by Sam Klukas, the Lincoln sub. So Dowell about to step up here. He'll take this left-footed. The referee blows his whistle. It's Dowell, and he scores, puts it in the top corner. Birmingham 1, Lincoln 0.
A reminder that second place Wickham are behind at Peterborough United by 1-0, and with Wrexham leading Rotherham United, Wrexham would go into that automatic promotion spot without a win in 4 home games, as Blackpool have rattled a third at Oakwell. Barnsley 0, Blackpool 3 in League One. We're approaching the midway point of the second half, and Liverpool leading by 2-1. It's almost as if the normal order has now been restored, hasn't it? Even within the crowd, the atmosphere, the feeling around the place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody sort of inside the stadium understood what was needed in the second half. The crowd responded, the players responded to the crowd, and Darwin Núñez, he's now getting a huge ovation. He responded with that goal and then winning the penalty, Ian, and I suppose there's that argument about his misdemeanour in the first half. Should it have been a red card? He stayed on and he has made his mark.
Well, Jota has come on to replace Darwin Núñez, and it was a lovely ovation for Darwin Núñez. That lack of discipline did result in a yellow card. VAR did have a look at a potential red. You never thought they would give a red, though, would you? It was a kick out, as the ball will eventually roll in the weak spring sunshine towards Alisson.
What it was daft from Darwin, wasn't it, to even give the officials an opportunity to send him off. It was, careless and clumsy, really, as much as anything. But Liverpool could have been in a real pickle had he gone.
Ultimately, I think the yellow was the right decision. Liverpool 2, Southampton 1. Robertson's early cross in, left corner of the area. Harwood Bellis heads it out. Liverpool, though, have the ball back once again with Robertson. Now with Van Dijk, left of the centre circle. Mention the visit of Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. There'll be commentary here on BBC Radio 5 Live, as there will from Villa Park on Wednesday. Aston Villa against Bruges. Manchester United against Real Sociedad in the Europa League. Commentary on Thursday from Old Trafford. Elliott, who gave Liverpool that priceless lead from Paris in midweek. Konate to Van Dijk. Salah, little touch towards Elliott and gives him space to run into on this near side, the right, 10 yards in from the touchline. Alexander-Arnold's first time cross from the right, and arriving was Diaz. Southampton get it away. Walker-Peters running back to Fernandes, skips out of the challenge and McAllister runs forward, but Liverpool will quickly close down the avenue and Fernandes has to retreat back inside his own half.
You know what, though? Archer had made a run. He's one-on-one with Konate, and I think Fernandes has got to try that pass, take a chance, take a risk, try and put Archer through. Wasn't an easy pass to make, but how many opportunities are Southampton going to get in this second half?
Cheltenham Festival next week, all 28 races covered for you on BBC Radio 5 Live, Sports Extra. The commentary on Tuesday on Sports Extra will be from 1 o'clock. Mark Chapman presenting from the course on Friday on Gold Cup Day, as Cheltenham actually have fallen behind to Colchester United, but Archer's away here. Archer enters the penalty area, right hand side. Archer saved by Alisson, stood inside his 6-yard area and beat the ball away with both hands.
Yeah, it's another warning for Liverpool. Archer's through right hand side of the box, and Van Dijk actually just steadied himself, slowed himself down and said, well, you try and beat Alisson from the angle, I'm backing my goalkeeper. And that was a good decision and a comfortable save in the end from Alisson down to his right hand side.
You'd expect Archer to hit the target, but he couldn't beat Alisson. As Liverpool in the penalty area, this is Luis Diaz, creates the space with the cross, and Salah couldn't get the conversion. He was a little bit off balance, he was just outside the 6-yard area right-footed, and it went wide. Goal kick. Liverpool still lead 2-1.
Had that been his left foot, I think we would have expected a different outcome. Diaz, I wondered whether he could have got a shot off on the corner of the 6-yard line. He was unselfish and stabbed the ball up to Salah. He couldn't direct his effort on target.
Well, this is going to be a really strong ovation for Adam Lallana, who comes on for Will Smallboat, because he was a £25 million acquisition for Liverpool. 6 years here, 178 appearances, and extremely popular. Adam Lallana comes on.
Yeah, wonderful footballer, Adam Lallana. Stellar career, and one thing that Southampton have missed in the second half is that bit of creativity, cleverness, guile, and we know Adam Lallana has that in spades.
18 minutes remaining. Still we have that weak sunshine. Colchester, incidentally, when I mentioned that they've taken the lead at Cheltenham, they're unbeaten in 10 in League Two. They're on a really, really good run of form at Colchester United. Liverpool lead by 2-1. It would take them 16 points clear of Arsenal, albeit Arsenal would have 2 games in hand. And one of them will be in 5 Live's Premier League Sunday from midday tomorrow. 4:30 commentary at Old Trafford. Chelsea, Leicester before that at 2. Spurs, Bournemouth will be on the BBC Sport website. But it's been, by and large, one-way traffic in this second half. Diaz for McAllister, stabs it into the path of Robertson. Robertson marauding his way forward. Harwood-Bellis cuts it out behind for a corner kick.
There's a wonderful crossfield ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold to Diaz. Must have been 40, 50, 60 yards. And then Liverpool are onto them. Little ball inside to McAllister, who releases Robertson. Bit of a heavy touch inside the box, and eventually a corner.
And the corner is worked out to Elliott, enters the area, shoots, headed away by Bella Kocha. It was Ramsdale who was already diving away towards his right. Wigan Athletic are leading Cambridge United by 1-0. They dispensed with the services of Sean Maloney last week, did Wigan. So taking temporary charge is Glenn Whelan, and they are ahead. Wigan 1, Cambridge United 0. Robertson, lovely touch out of the air on that left-hand side, high up the pitch, he wins the corner kick. Let's get an update from Brighton. Oh, it's not a corner kick, it's a goal kick. Update nevertheless from the Amex with John.
Well, it's Brighton 1, Fulham 1. Game's just dipped into a bit of a lull, but Brighton have brought on March and Welbeck scored the winner in his last 2 games. He's got about 13 minutes to do it again. Brighton 1, Fulham 1.
Tranmere Rovers have come from behind. They lead Bromley by 2-1. There was a shake of the head and disagreement with Andy Robertson towards the referee.
I thought it was the correct decision. I'll tell you what is interesting in the sort of ruthlessness from Arne Slot at half-time, saying, do you know what? Not good enough in the first half. That lack of intensity. I'm going to be positive, make the substitutions. And that has proved a really clever decision.
Despite that touchline ban, he is allowed to talk to the players during the half-time interval. That's when he made that change, and to good effect as well. So we've heard from Brighton 1, Fulham 1. Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Chris Coles.
It's still 0-0, but Alex Palmer has saved Ipswich and saved Leif Davis. Woefully short back pass, Daniel Munoz onto it. Palmer out to make a really good save to keep it at Palace 0, Ipswich 0.
Here is Ramsdale in the Southampton goal, chipping the ball out towards Manning. Harwood-Bellis eventually will clear for Southampton. Fernandes couldn't get hold of it. McAllister just touches it with the outside of his right boot to Van Dijk in the centre circle to stride forward. Barrow 2, Accrington Stanley 0 is the latest score in League 2. We've got about 15 minutes remaining. I think we'll probably start to rattle through the divisions. Of course, nothing in Scotland. It's Scottish Cup weekend. Hearts beat Dundee 3-1 last night, and Aberdeen beat Queen's Park in the early game by 4-1. The other 2 quarter-finals, Celtic Hibs is tomorrow, and Livingston St Johnstone is being played on Monday night. But the latest scores in League 2, well, the 2 results: Wimbledon 2, Notts County 0. Both sides looking still for automatic promotion. Walsall 1, Grimsby Town 3. So the leaders lost. Good for Grimsby in their playoff hopes. These are the latest scores: Barrow 2, Accrington 0, as I've mentioned. Cheltenham 0, Colchester 1. Chesterfield 2, Newport County 1. Doncaster Rovers, who were 2-0 up, now drawing 2-2 at home to Swindon Town. Fleetwood and Port Vale is goalless. Bradford City had a chance to go to the top of the table, but they're losing at Priestfield. Gillingham 1, Bradford City 0. Harrogate 0, Carlisle United 0. Carlisle, who are bottom of the table. Mark Hughes, his team are 4 unbeaten. MK Dons 2, Morecambe 1, Salford City 1, Crewe 0, Tranmere Rovers 2, Bromley 1. Goal at Sunderland, John Bennett.
A big goal for Sunderland as they look to cut the gap to the top 2. Sunderland 2, Cardiff 1. It's Chris Mepham tapping it in across from the right-hand side. Right place, right time. Sunderland 2, Cardiff 1.
One turn too many by Luis Diaz. He fell to the floor, and Southampton saw it back towards Ramsdale. Mansfield Town have equalised at Stevenage. Stevenage 1, Mansfield Town 1. That is a latest scoreline from Broadhall Way. The latest scores in League 1. Just keep my eye on Archer on that right-hand side for Southampton. And in the sunshine, Gravenberch wins the ball deep inside his own half. The 2 results, incidentally, were Crawley 1, Reading 1. So Reading unbeaten in 8. Stockport County 0, Charlton 0. Charlton, who've only now lost 1 of 11 under Nathan Jones. Barnsley 0, Blackpool 3. Birmingham the leaders 1, Lincoln City 0. Bristol Rovers 1, Huddersfield 0. Burton 1, Bolton 2. Exeter are leading Shrewsbury 2-0. Leyton Orient 1, Northampton Town 2. Peterborough leading Wickham by 1-0. Peterborough looking to go 5 unbeaten. Stevenage 1, Mansfield 1, that scoreline I've just mentioned. And Wigan 1, Cambridge United 0, while Wrexham lead Rotherham by 1-0. So Wrexham will go second in the table as it currently stands. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and I think this is this is the difference between Arne Slot's Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, who were brilliant to watch, but they've just kept the ball, haven't they, in sort of recent times, trying to draw Southampton onto them, playing at their own pace, slow across the back and then quick, whereas a little bit more direct under Klopp and sort of go for the kill, but they're trying to draw Southampton players out onto them and put them under pressure, and then using their superiority to play through them.
Crewe have got an equaliser at Salford in League 2. Salford 1, Crewe 1 is now a latest score, but Liverpool are in control, leading by 2-1. And Southampton at the moment, Lallana is the one who decides to go and press Konate, who passes the ball out towards Van Dijk. He hits it forward. Robertson, Harwood Bellis commits himself with a header, goes out of play from that far side. Frank Lampard. Before I give you the championship scores, goal at Crystal Palace.
Finally, Ian, finally a chance is taken. Crystal Palace take the lead. Ismail Assar takes this really nicely, bursting into the penalty area, lifts it over Alex Palmer to make it Palace 1, Ipswich 0.
McAllister forward, looks for Jota, goes behind him. Southampton able to bring the ball clear through Fernandes. So 1-0 at Selhurst Park. Brighton 1, Fulham 1 is still a scoreline. Fernandes continued to run. There was no foul there, says the referee. Southampton's bench protests, but Liverpool come forward as the crowd whip up the atmosphere once again inside Anfield, with the red and white scarves being swung around their heads as they're in the cot. The Sekeni Dalglish down the Anfield Road end, both bottom and top tiers away towards our left-hand side, and with just 10 overs remaining. 10
overs?
It was the sunshine, it fooled me. 10 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I've got to say the recovery run from Diaz, hands on hips at the moment, to get back and make the challenge on Fernandes sums him up as a player that always had great desire, ability with the ball, without the ball. He's first class as well.
That was a googly. Almost tripping myself up there. Here is
a full toss.
Here is Elliott. Jota gives it back. And Alexander-Arnold, Southampton again defending very deep. Fleetwood 1, Port Vale 0 is the latest scoreline. Here is Salah. Stopped by Lallana, dived on by Ramsdale. So earlier on, the two results in the Championship. What a wonderful job Frank Lampard is doing at Coventry City. They beat Stoke by 3-2. They've won 9 of their last 10 now of Coventry as they consolidate a playoff position. Watford 1, Millwall 2 was the other result in the other early game, as Bella Kotchap steps out of defence for Southampton and chips the ball out towards Sulemana. Doesn't reach him. Headed forward by a stationary Alexander-Arnold. Elliott comes forward, links up with Salah, and Elliott shoots! And it was a floated effort off his left foot that was drifting wide. Ramsdale at full flight away towards his right, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, always drifting wide, I think, 25 yards out. Why not take a shot? He just cuts across the ball, and Ramsdale flings himself to his right, but as well past 5 yards past the right-hand post. The only danger for Liverpool is Cameron Archer picking up a position in between Virgil van Dijk and Robertson, and those balls into the right-hand channel.
The excellent Gravenberch is coming off, and Wataru Endo comes on to replace him in the midfield as we go to the Amex and John Southall.
Brighton 1, Fulham 1. Brighton pushing for the winner here. Danny Welbeck with a header 7 yards out, just drifted wide. Great chance there. Brighton 1, Fulham 1.
And at long last, I can give you the latest scores in the Championship. Bristol City 1, the 10 men of Hull City 1. Burnley 3, the 10 men of Luton Town 0. Derby County 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. That would be a first win in 13 for John Eustace against his former club. Plymouth Argyle will go to the bottom of the table as it currently stands. Plymouth 0, Sheffield Wednesday 3. Sheffield United 1, Preston North End 0. That would take Chris Wilder's side level with Leeds United at the top. Sunderland 2, Cardiff 1. Swansea 1, Middlesbrough 0. West Bromwich Albion are down to 10 men, but but they still lead Queen's Park Rangers by 1-0. Salah dancing his way in towards the penalty area with the cross. Bella Kotchuk tries to clear, closed down quickly by Jota. Elliott picks it back up for Liverpool, cross from the left-hand side. Harwood-Bellis is the one now to run it out of the penalty area with 8 minutes remaining, but it's behind Sulemana. It's a Liverpool throw, 2-1 they lead.
He was Harwood-Bellis, who's actually had a pretty decent game. Left centre half for Southampton, looking for the runner. There's a good ball in from Mo Salah, looking for the run in behind of Sulemana. He didn't move and eventually tried to play a short ball, and it went out for a throw-in.
Here is Van Dijk, back out towards Luis Diaz. They might have thought of an improbable victory at half-time. The Saints supporters have made that long journey up from the south coast, but Liverpool came out a different animal altogether in the second half, and as they win the ball again with Jota, Harwood-Bellis tries to shield Jota away, and there was a foul on Harwood-Bellis. Free kick Southampton.
Yeah, I'd say he's defended well, Harwood-Bellis. Yeah, fair play to all those Southampton fans who have made the trip in. I mean, that is absolute loyalty. This season they have seen a pile of dross, haven't they? Let's get it right, but that's absolute commitment from them. And today, first half, their team actually did them proud.
Joe Aribo and Paul Onuachu are the two players coming on. As the two players going off are Ugochukwu and Manning.
This is, yeah, they're risking now, gambling. Two central strikers who will play up against the Liverpool centre-backs, and that'll leave them wide open in the middle of the park.
Ivan Juric, who only had 12 games before he departed Roma last autumn, signing that 18-month deal in December. It is another sinking feeling for Southampton, who are rooted to the bottom of the Premier League. 13 points adrift of safety come the start of play, and with Wolverhampton Wanderers against Everton at 8 o'clock tonight at Molineux, Wolves might have an opportunity to pull further clear. Ipswich Town, remember, 5 points adrift of Wolves, are behind at Crystal Palace. Ball over the top towards Diaz. Sugawara. Diaz tries to get there. Oh, and then Harwood-Bellis has gone on for a 50-50 challenge with Luis Diaz. The ball has been kept in play, but Luis Diaz hasn't moved. That really looked a bad challenge for Luis Diaz. He was at full pelt going into it with Harwood-Bellis.
Well, yeah, both players went to ground, Ian, and these are always awkward situations because they're both making a genuine attempt to play the ball. It's good that Diaz has actually sat up. But first of all, I wondered whether there's a handball. I think it is a handball from Sugawara, who moves his arm towards the ball. Liverpool should be awarded a penalty. This will go to VAR, and then the challenge from Harwood-Bellis. He's really committed. So is Diaz, but I'm pretty sure a penalty will be awarded here. It should be awarded.
It should be
handball. But then that collision, and you're just thinking about Diaz. They need him fit, don't they, to Liverpool? The threat he carries, whether as a central striker or a wide player off the left-hand side.
Good to see both sets of the two players on their feet as the referee, Lewis Smith, has been ordered to go across to the screen by Matt Donoghue, the VAR, but there was a movement of the arm by Sugawara.
Yeah, it's
a nudge with the right elbow.
It's really stupid defending because he's inside Diaz. He doesn't need to do that. He could let the ball bounce and it'd still be an awkward situation to Liverpool to score from there. This will be 100% awarded as a penalty. If it's not, Ian, I'll eat my hat.
Well, if that is the case, I'll help you eat it.
It's brainless defending, it is. It's needless, doesn't need to move his arm towards the ball.
It doesn't need to take this long to look at it either. As soon as you see it once, you know that that's a penalty.
Absolutely.
Incidentally, Paris Saint-Germain are away at Rennes, and at half-time, it's Rennes 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. That's the opposition for Liverpool on Tuesday night, as the penalty has been awarded. He's already scored from the spot once today, has Mo Salah. His record from the penalty spot, incidentally, for Liverpool, he's missed 8 of 51 spot kicks. And this season, after that one earlier on it is 10 from 11 as he places the ball down. Liverpool lead 2-1. VAR quite rightly giving a penalty. Sugawara has been penalised with 3 minutes remaining. This has an opportunity to wrap it up for the league leaders.
What do you do? Do you go the same way, Ian? What would you do?
If I did it, I'd probably miss it from here. Here is Salah. Straight run up against Ramsdale. This is a chance to go level with Sergio Aguero, joint 5th in the all-time Premier League scoring charts. Once again makes that movement to his right. It's emphatic. Mo Salah rarely misses. Left-footed, hammers the ball past Ramsdale. Another goal from the spot for Salah and another step towards the title for Liverpool. 3-1.
Blimey, he meant that, didn't he? 3 goals, 3 points for Liverpool, 16 points clear. Ramsdale thought he was going the same way, and he wraps his foot round it into the top corner to Ramsdale's left-hand side. Liverpool in this second half, blimey, they've been outstanding, and they have blown the Sorry Saints away. What a penalty that is, hammered in. You can hear the cries, Ian, and the Liverpool fans. I don't think they're wrong.
Are you going to believe us? We're going to win the league. A celebratory feel inside Anfield. Mo Salah moves on to 184 in the Premier League, level with Sergio Aguero. Only Andy Cole is a matter of 3 goals away from Mo Salah, as Quansah is going to be coming on for Liverpool as well. As there's been a try at Murrayfield, Jamie Lyon.
And it belongs to Scotland. Fullback Blair Kinghorn bursting down the left-hand side with the home team's first attack of the day. They lead Wales in this Six Nations match by 5 points to 3 with just 6 minutes played.
Commentary on Sports Extra. Quansah will replace Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's Liverpool leading by 3 goals to 1 as the empty spaces start to appear in the away end for a beleaguered Southampton. Brighton, Fulham, John Southall. Can't get to John just at this moment. No other latest scores to tell you about, but it's 1-1 there at the Amex. Crystal Palace lead Ipswich by 1-0. Commentary to come, Brentford Aston Villa at 5:30. Sports report on its way with Mark Chapman on 5 Live. We're also live on the World Service and BBC Sounds this afternoon. There might have been an Arsenal supporter at half-time with Southampton leading, thinking, OK, 13 points behind, 2 games in hand, still to come to Anfield on May the 10th. Liverpool now, though, have turned it around second period, 16 clear.
Yep, absolutely decisive substitutes at half-time, raising the level of play. Second half, this has been the Liverpool we've been accustomed to this season.
We shall not be moved is now the latest chant from the Anfield crowd. Arsenal reeled in Manchester United in 97-98. Liverpool will take some stopping. They're leading by 3 goals to 1 as we go to the Amex. And John.
Well, it's Brighton 1, Fulham 1. We've got 1 minute left to play here. Brighton pushing forward for this winning goal, but they're running out of time. Brighton 1, Fulham 1.
We're not running out of time. We've got another 7 minutes remaining of added on time, so a minimum of 7, which will take us close to 5 o'clock and Sports Report on BBC Radio 5 Live. A reminder that India-New Zealand Champions Trophy cricket final will be on Sports Extra at 9 in the morning. Cheltenham Festival, all the racing next week on 5 Live and Sports Extra. Coverage on Sports Extra starts at 1 o'clock on Tuesday as Liverpool, with got some defending to do now here, with the exception of that Archer effort from Alisson. It has been all Liverpool second period.
Has Southampton won a penalty here? Walker-Peters, left-hand side of the box. Quansah. Walker-Peters goes down. They feel there's contact. Obviously, VAR will be looking at this.
Mark Hughes, Carlisle United unbeaten in 4 since Mark Hughes in his last 4 games. Harrogate Town, they've got an injury time winner in North Yorkshire. Harrogate Town 1, Carlisle United 0. So bottom of the table, League 2, Carlisle fall behind. Here is Salah. He's on a hat-trick. Ball played by McAllister to Van Dijk. Now towards Diaz. And Sugawara, who gave away that penalty with that needless handball, kills it out of play for a throw. Much more like Liverpool second half.
Yep, absolutely. They know what they wanted to do, know that they sort of slipped under the level in the first half, but the second half they've been excellent. They've been slicker, faster, sharper, braver, and they're pressed braver in the play, and certainly got their rewards. They've blown this Southampton team away.
Looking to go unbeaten in 25 in the Premier League since their only defeat of the league campaign against Nottingham Forest when we were here together back in mid-September. You think that Liverpool have dropped 5 points against Nottingham Forest. They've dropped 12 points in the other 27 games that they've played in the top flight, leading by 3-1. Aribo will run forward on that far side for Southampton, looking for the run ahead of him, but gathering it in was Allison. Port Vale have got an injury time equaliser in League Two. Fleetwood 1, Port Vale 1. Swansea City have beaten Middlesbrough. That's a blow to Michael Carrick and their playoff hopes. They were 9th, only 2 points off the playoffs, but they've lost in South Wales. Sunderland have beaten Cardiff by 2-1. But there's a late penalty at the Amex. John Southall.
We are in the 97th minute of the game. Brighton 1, Fulham 1, and Brighton have a penalty. João Pedro, just nicked by Harrison Reed, went down by the far post, and Pedro will take the penalty. 7 goals so far this season, 2 from 2 in the league. Bernd Leno, the hero at Old Trafford in the penalty shootout, awaits. There's a hush that just goes round the stadium. Remember, Brighton have never beaten Fulham in the Premier League. This is their 10th chance to do so. João Pedro just waits, steps up, and he puts it into the bottom right-hand corner. The keeper went the right way, and the Amex erupts. Brighton have pinched it. Brighton 2, Fulham 1.
And Brighton looking for a 4th successive win in the top flight as Wycombe Wanderers, second in League One, have got an injury time equaliser at London Road. Peterborough 1, Wycombe 1. Southampton attacking on the edge of the area, and Virgil van Dijk will get the ball away. So 2 late goals. Now, the last we heard, Wrexham were leading, still leading Rotherham by 1-0, but at the top of the table it means that Wycombe remain second. And there's been another late goal. It's at Turf Moor. Katie Smith.
And it's Burnley 4, Luton Town 0. They put 4 past them in the reverse fixture. They've done it again today. This one for Ashley Barnes, slamming into the roof of the net. Burnley 4, Luton 0.
Low cross comes in from the left-hand side. Onuachu just couldn't get the touch. It'll go out of play on that far side. Bristol City 1, Hull City 1 is how it's finished. And Gillingham have beaten Bradford City by 1-0. So Bradford miss out on the chance to go top of League Two.
Yeah, just a slight worry for Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk hobbling.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, that's not a good look, really. Hopefully it will be nothing from Liverpool's perspective. Maybe just took a little knock in the box there.
Yeah, just keep an eye on that one. Paris Saint-Germain to come on Tuesday night, live on 5 Live. League Cup final next Sunday against Newcastle United, live on 5 Live. So much live football to look forward to, as we'll get news of that Wycombe equaliser from Adam Whitty.
Yeah, Richard Coney, who's got a 9-minute hat-trick the last time the teams met, might have stolen, and in fact has stolen, a draw for Wycombe. Full-time here, 1-1. Wycombe goes second on goal difference, as it looked like Wrexham might leapfrog them at one stage. Full-time, Peterborough 1, Wycombe 1. Yeah,
Wycombe remaining second, as despite that leading for Wrexham, as Konate leads the charge out of defence. Onuachu goes with him, and Onuachu is shown a yellow card as he gives away a free kick for Liverpool. It was a marauding run from the back by Konate.
Not sure Arne Slot wants to see one of that centre-back pairing in the 97th minute, steaming forward with the games Liverpool have coming up, but he wins the free kick.
Commentary to come from Brentford, Aston Villa, then Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage taking your call. 08085909693. Not just about the Premier League, but also in the Championship, League One, League Two, or indeed Scotland. You set the agenda, as always, with Chris and Robbie. We're inside the last 60 seconds of the minimum of 7 to be added on here at Anfield, and this free kick in front of the Kop end, where 3 second-half goals have turned it around for Liverpool, with a much improved performance, increasing the tempo, and deservedly leading now 3-1. Elliott stands over the free kick. Elliott left-footed, slides it in low and cleared by Sulemana. And Konate will just take it on the chest and stroke it back towards Alisson.
Oh, what a strange free kick, actually. He just ended up side-footing the ball. Looked like he was trying to find a Liverpool player, but side-footing it straight to a Southampton defender. He made the clearance.
Robertson, at a nice gentle walking pace, will take that throw in on the left-hand side. So what are your thoughts then, Chris, for this game?
Well, thoughts are Liverpool is all about the 3 points. Hard work, made hard work of it in the first half, went behind, surprisingly, an Alisson error. You don't say that very often. Second half, changes made at half-time, decisive changes, Arne Slot not messing around, and it was a different Liverpool in the second half. Darwin Núñez, there was an incident with him in the first half, but he got the equalising goal, and then 2 Mo Salah penalties, 3 big points, 16 points the gap now. That is an enormous gap to Arsenal, and Liverpool on course for the Premier League title. Still work to do though, but an important 3 points.
A sweet 16 for Liverpool. Smallbone slotted Southampton ahead on the stroke of half-time, but in the second half, Núñez and 2 penalties from Mo Salah mean that Liverpool, the league leaders, stretch their unbeaten run in the top flight to 25 games. It's finished. Liverpool 3, Southampton 1.